In a serene valley surrounded by mountains, an ancient town thrives under a bright sky, its blue-painted roofs and ornate architecture enhancing its charm. Set 249 years ago, characters are surprised and captivated by a man pointing upwards in their bustling town. A group of characters, filled with wonder and disbelief, gazes upward at an enormous dimensional gate. Two fearsome characters with long, dark wings hover menacingly between twisted gate towers, exuding power as they prepare for battle. Two formidable beings with dark wings face a nightmarish structure, ready for a fierce showdown amidst an ominous atmosphere. Powerful figures, to be known as demons, confront a dark entity amidst swirling chaos. A fearsome character with long hair and a skeletal mask wields a weapon, commanding shadowy creatures in a chaotic backdrop, asserting dominance. After descending, they announce their intention to invade mankind, foreshadowing chaos and fear. A terrifying creature cloaked in shadow descends with fury, its sharp claws and fiery eyes spreading chaos and dread. Amidst chaos, terrified villagers huddle as a monstrous figure looms, its fierce eyes glaring, while villagers struggle against despair. The text described the start of the demon invasion, leading the Orthodox Alliance to form the Orthodox Heaven Demon Extermination Corps in response to the threat. Amid chaos, a fierce warrior led his comrades, issuing commands as they charged forward with swords ready to face the oncoming threat. He declared their mission to defeat the demons, mentioning that 3 days later, they faced the demon corps in Anhui. A monstrous character towered over a battlefield filled with fallen soldiers, embodying the devastation as the remnants of the battle disappeared into darkness. A year had passed, with half of the Central Plains population slaughtered, marking a period of significant loss and turmoil. A strong warrior led a large, shadowy army, their collective tension and anger visible against the night backdrop with flickering banners. The Orthodox and unorthodox Murim united as the final defense line in Sichuan, determined against the looming threat. During a fierce storm, a monk stood resolute with beads in hand, while a fierce warrior charged forward, determination clear. A monstrous creature with a gory face lunged at a determined fighter, who countered skillfully with a glowing weapon as an ally watched from behind. A horde of monstrous foes rushed toward a brave fighter wielding a glowing blade, while a wise character observed, ready to support their ally. The battle lasted over 2 weeks, resulting in the loss of 90% of the resistance army. Amidst chaos, a fierce battle unfolds as bodies scatter around a central character, whose determination and power radiate despite the overwhelming loss surrounding her. Murim faces a chilling fate as it is declared officially wiped out, leaving survivors enslaved and bound for the demon realm. A sinister character looms with a whip, declaring enjoyment of the situation, as chained captives in tattered clothes brace themselves for their fate. A gaunt young man, bloodied and emaciated, struggles against his chains, despair etched on his face, embodying the terror of his situation. 5 years have passed since he was captured and brought to that dark place, his despair still present. He sat in a high-tech helmet, eyes wide with fear and confusion, feeling trapped, reflecting on his inability to harness inner energy since birth. In a high-tech chamber, he was restrained, a mask obscuring his face while robotic limbs reached out, blending humanity and machinery. Classified as a rare species, he endured numerous experiments and brainwashing that altered his essence, trapping him in a world of manipulation. Surrounded by intimidating characters, he stood firm, his piercing gaze revealing determination born from countless trials and battles against manipulation. He joined the demon realm's subjugation army, with decades passing since. In the midst of chaos, warriors engage in fierce combat, an elven archer takes aim, while a powerful character battles monstrous adversaries. He spoke about invading dimensions and committing slaughters, his words filled with a dark triumph, suggesting the chaos he caused. He mentioned killings, boasting about his slaughters with unsettling pride, reflecting a troubling triumph in his journey. 75 years after becoming a slave soldier, he stands amid chaos, cloaked in darkness and blood, displaying a chilling pride. After 120 years, he considers his recognition, ultimately rising to the rank of commander among demons. He glares menacingly, his grotesque grin and piercing eyes indicating a dark power, surrounded by a foreboding environment. He leans in closely, his expression a mix of intrigue and intensity, while examining a mysterious object in his hand. He gazes wide-eyed, understanding something significant, as swirling winds create a dramatic scene around him. He stands before a massive swirling eye in the sky, awestruck, surrounded by jagged rocks as colors swirl around him. He thought about the years lost, regretting the half-century spent seeking ways to fulfill his dreams. Beneath overcast skies, he remembered the wasted years as others, armed and resolute, advanced towards the fortress for battle. He considered the rebellion he had carefully orchestrated, noting it had been a week since it commenced. He observed the battlefield strewn with fallen soldiers, a bloodied sword partially buried, while dark shadows loomed over the defeated terrain. Amidst the fallen, bloodied and defeated, he lay, surrounded by the grim reminders of war, with the moans of the dying echoing. Breathing heavily, he grimaced with blood on his lips, struggling to cough, pain and exhaustion evident in his eyes. Gazing upward at the towering fiery character, he felt a mix of fear and resolve, the heat radiating from the blazing form before him. Realizing the rebellion's failure, he stood with a fierce glare, darkness swirling around him, highlighting his determination and despair. Wielding his sword with a menacing glare, he expressed immense disappointment as his fallen opponent lay defeated. With a furious glare, Demon King Tarant accused his rival of risking their hard-earned contributions for something so trivial. Schwitz von Grentel, with bloodied teeth, insists on being called Sa Bigon. The horned character, engulfed in flames, admits confusion, unable to comprehend his surroundings. Observing intensely, he comments on humans, implying a deep understanding of their nature. He reflects on his opponent's limited skills, noting their sole strength lies in their survival instinct. Questioning her reckless actions, she reveals a desire to experience something at least once. He asserts that to ensure victory next time, he must face her again. The idea intrigues him, though he considers it foolish, as flames mirror his spirit. Sitting on the ground, bloodied and exhausted, he declares there will be no second chances, death is inevitable. With a bloodied hand raised, he fiercely declares he will not fall, promising, "I will not be killed by you." With blood-stained hands and wild eyes, he declared his defiance against death, refusing to be a victim. His aura emitted a fiery glow as his shocked expression showed the surprise his powers caused in others. Amid swirling chaos, his fierce determination was evident as he faced the impending challenge with intensity and focus. Amidst glowing symbols and vibrant energy, he channeled extraordinary power in a concentrated moment, preparing for the challenge ahead. An intense energy burst from the mountain, lighting the dark atmosphere, revealing a powerful force awakening as the ground trembled. A bright surge of purple energy erupted as she unleashed her power, lighting up the scene and adding tension, while flames crackled. A dark, fiery figure emerged, representing Nuzerin, an ancient evil god, as time regression began, enveloped in a menacing aura. Nuzerin declared his purpose after 200 years of humiliation, stating that his suffering was for this moment, surrounded by a purple glow. With a fierce expression, he vowed revenge, promising an even harsher defeat next time against his adversary as dark energy enveloped him. With a menacing glare and vibrant red eye, he proclaimed that all cursed demons would perish. The fiery demon expressed eagerness for impending chaos, its eyes glowing within the flames. An explosion of purple energy erupted as the demon declared this was the only human it acknowledged, indicating a crucial conflict. In Central Plains Murim, a foreboding night sky overshadowed an ancient village, suggesting hidden secrets beneath the stars. A lightning bolt struck the main building of the ancient village, illuminating the dark sky and the surrounding ominous atmosphere. An explosion shattered the ancient building, leaving a glowing hole filled with purple energy, hinting at the unrest within the tranquil village. He lay motionless on the fragmented floor, surrounded by debris and a soft purple glow, with chaos remnants in the air. He sat quietly, a determined look on his face, as time left until the demon invasion ominously appeared above him. With a sly smile, he unveiled his plans, stating the countdown had finally reached 10 years. The scene depicted two notable academies. The Orthodox Alliance Martial Arts Academy stood in the background, while the Dragon Spring Academy shone under the clear sky. He expertly hammered a nail into a beam, wearing a bandage on his arm, showing determination as he worked under a bright blue sky. The worker expressed surprise about the intense lightning, noting it was strong enough to damage the training ground's roof, while his companion nodded in agreement. He commented they should be relieved only the loser suffered an injury, while another character looked concerned and surprised by the remark. She remembered the vice instructor, an orphan brought back by physician Jean Beck, while another mentioned the martial arts instructor who lacked inner energy. A man in a headband discussed an injury, smirking as he suggested it would have been preferable if the injury were serious. A crowd gathered eagerly as the narrator revealed today marked the public execution, creating a tense and expectant atmosphere. 3 stern officials stood ready, with one announcing the duel for the speak assistant instructor position at the Dragon Spring Academy would begin. Excited students in dark uniforms cheered as the announcement signaled the official start of the event, their enthusiasm visible in their smiles. He stood with determination, announcing the presence of the current assistant instructor, Sa Bigong, on one side, while a crowd gathered in anticipation. He smiled confidently, revealing his opponent was the one recommended for the assistant instructor position, Meng Sandiak, known for his invincible divine spear. He stood confidently, declaring a request to verify the abilities of assistant instructor Sa Bigong. He faced the arena, announcing the duel would determine who becomes the assistant instructor. 2 fighters confronted each other in a crowded arena, their martial arts honor at stake. One fighter commented that his opponent was more skilled than expected, as the crowd watched. Another fighter jested about his opponent getting unexpectedly struck by lightning, while spectators awaited the next move. Meng Sandiak, grinning, boasted about his bull demon spear art, accusing his opponent of avoiding the fight. With confidence, Meng Sandiak declared he would end the fight swiftly, admiring his opponent's bravery. A self-assured character suggested that surrendering might prove wise, hinting at future benefits. An instructor at a martial arts academy struggled with his inability to use inner energy, pondering under a vibrant sky. Standing firm, the thoughtful instructor accepted his fate, knowing his trait made others look down on him. Ultimately, the once disgraced instructor proudly stood, while another character cheered in the background. He faced a humiliating defeat in a public duel, lost his instructor role, and now performed menial tasks while others mocked him. He endured difficult days, gripping a stick tightly, his face hidden in shadows, reflecting on his despair and challenging memories. He appeared perplexed, furrowing his brow, questioning the nonsense she was speaking. He summarized the situation, standing resolutely with a determined look, his boots firmly on the wet ground. He grinned with fierce excitement, stating he had waited long for this moment and called the person an ugly jerk. He shouted angrily, questioning how someone could be so arrogant, his face twisted in anger as he glared. He exclaimed his intention to preserve some of the instructor's pride, emphasizing their role while angrily stomping the ground, leaving a mark. He declared it was time for him to pay for his arrogance, swinging his weapon with determination as energy surrounded him. He roared in fury, his red eyes glowing with rage, revealing sharp teeth as he confronted his opponent with determination. Explosive energy erupted as the character unleashed their first form, displaying immense power amid a chaotic flurry of action. The character charged with determination, embodying the ferocious bull charge, leaving chaos behind. Recalling the expected sensation on his spear, he showed frustration through tense muscles. He questioned why his spear felt nothing, surrounded by swirling clouds as it flew. Reflecting on his previous attempt, he thought it decent, while an angry man insisted hitting the target was crucial. Lunging angrily, he shouted at his opponent, calling them a jerk, as he wielded his weapon determinedly in the bustling street. He gasped at the discomfort watching his opponent stride into the center, ready to face him. He was shocked, wondering how his opponent dodged the bull demon spear art so easily. Expecting a weak opponent, he was surprised by the skill displayed, smirking at the slow attack and questioning their teaching abilities. In disbelief, he furiously exclaimed the opponent must have been lucky. He stomped fiercely, creating a loud impact, sending debris flying in a display of force. He jumped high, brandishing a weapon, while a character below prepared for a clash. With determination, he yelled, "Die," and unleashed the fourth form of the bull demon spear art, releasing intense energy. He performed the falling bull strike with immense energy, as his opponent watched in awe, showing determination. With a determined gaze, he prepared for a decisive attack, gripping his weapon, determination evident in his expression. Standing confidently, he swung his spinning weapons, the air crackling as he showcased his skill. Confidently, he stood ready to display his skills, fingers poised for a powerful move, the atmosphere charged with energy. Laughing maniacally, he declared his spear technique unbeatable, confidence unwavering. He commanded, "Fireball," as fiery energy swirled from his hand, showing his fierce determination. In surprise, he questioned the fiery chaos as flames erupted around him. He watched in shock as a fierce explosion occurred, causing flames to consume the air. His companion and he were overwhelmed, sweat covering their faces as chaos unfolded around them. Feeling panicked, he nervously ate a snack, while his friends watched the growing chaos in shock. Surrounded by flames, he cried out, embodying desperation in the chaotic scene. In disbelief, he gasped, expressing shock and concern over the unexpected duel outcome. Nearby flames erupted, and the crowd watched as Sa Bigong was declared victor, while someone urgently shouted for water. Captured and chained, the character, weakened and bloodied, stared in despair, realizing demons had taken him alive. He recalled being forcibly taken to the demon realm, battling for survival over the ages, as a glowing symbol highlighted his struggle. Amidst his journey, he understood something significant through his experiences. Lying defeated, he contemplated failure, recalling someone questioning the effectiveness of his Heat-Yang arts, deemed high-level magic. With confidence, he smiled and announced the martial art called Fireball, as the bright sky loomed behind him. He confidently claimed it was indistinguishable from martial arts. He lay battered on the ground, struggling to rise amidst painful groans and exhaustion. He groaned in recovery efforts, as a cheerful warrior praised the fight, waving enthusiastically. A shocked man stuttered about the recent event, while another suggested it was the Heat-Yang finger arts, leaving companions surprised. A furious man, eyes wide, stammered in disbelief about the absurdity, as his companions exchanged stunned looks questioning reality. He turned away holding a staff, his ponytail swaying, feeling accomplished as someone congratulated him, calling him Instructor Sa Bigong. He won the fight, prompting someone to question how, given their belief she couldn't use internal energy. He smiled, attributing the win to luck, while the man below looked intrigued, questioning the claim of luck. A few days earlier, he recalled discovering an unfamiliar herb during a walk that suddenly allowed him to harness internal energy. He smiled confidently, claiming ample internal energy, while another character expressed disbelief, questioning his seriousness. He confronted him, demanding to know why he dared to speak nonsense to the elders and whether he was insulting everyone present. Turning away, he questioned the importance of anyone believing him while the group looked on in shock. He pondered if he had cheated in the duel meant to secure the spearmanship teaching position, noting the absence of rules for fighting with only spears. Frustrated, he questioned why he was being interrogated, believing he had won fairly. Glaring fiercely, he accused someone and urged them to calm down, insisting they were too agitated. Standing resolutely, he acknowledged another's claim and admitted victory in their recent conflict. He began discussing the victory and future actions when another character interrupted, raising a hand to pause the conversation. He proposed a request to the gathered individuals, while another character appeared intrigued, showing curiosity and surprise. Formally, he requested to take the test, aiming for promotion to an official instructor, exuding determination and confidence. Walking confidently, each step purposeful, he moved forward in his quest, ready to face forthcoming challenges. He walked confidently in a flowing purple robe, while startled onlookers hurried past, sensing his powerful presence. As he walked by, two people murmured about whether he was the one from the duel, expressing surprise and curiosity. With a confident smirk, he scanned the surroundings with striking eyes, as if daring anyone to question him. He confidently gazed at the Dragon Spring Academy, a martial training hall for the Jianghu Miram community. They were united in their mission to train martial artists who would become future leaders of the Orthodox Alliance, accepting children aged 15 to 18 from various sects. The instructors, martial masters from the Orthodox Alliance, stood confidently, ready to train their future disciples. Martial instructors from the Orthodox Alliance formed a powerful lineup, showcasing their titles as assistant and senior instructors, prepared for training. He observed the room, noting the assistant instructors were more focused on assisting than teaching, and wondered what had occurred. He glared defiantly as a stern figure approached, hinting at a tense confrontation. He stood, surprised by his sudden ability to use internal energy, as a stern figure questioned him curiously. Jean Beck, the pavilion master of Dragon Spring Academy, confronted someone with a stern expression, asking what they had done. Jean Beck clarified to the individual that they were not an instructor but a physician dedicated to patient care. Jean Beck insisted it was mere luck, while the physician firmly stated he had been treating Jean for a long time. The physician expressed frustration since discovering Jean Beck couldn't use internal energy, claiming he had attempted every method to assist him. He hesitated, uncertainty in his eyes, considering the weight of his thoughts. In a traditional room, he pondered deeply, questioning his effectiveness as a physician and if problems could be resolved easily. Holding his face in despair, tears glistened as he acknowledged his deep shame and the hatred directed at another. Expressing sorrow, he repeated his apology, feeling the weight of his actions as shame crossed his face. Smirking knowingly, he realized that despite time passing, nothing about the situation or the person had changed. Reflecting, he thought that despite the years, the person who saved him from a bandit ambush still felt like a parent. He acknowledged the man who saved him and sacrificed his life for others during the chaos. He expressed desperation about the situation, insisting it was different this time, while the recovering body pavilion master listened closely. He promised to ensure the other's survival, while the latter assured him not to worry or take the blame. He appeared shocked and breathless, eyes wide and sweating, as if recognizing someone important. He smiled reassuringly, declaring he would solve all problems from now on, showing determination and trust. He stood shirtless, gazing thoughtfully out the window at the moon, the night filled with silent reflections. A glowing hand extended, crackling with energy, signifying power and a forthcoming release of mystical forces. He stood confidently, a magical symbol swirling above his hand, emanating power and potential. He reflected on his regression, realizing he lost over 90% of his mana, thinking he could only manage the 4th circle. He lamented taking centuries to reach the 8th circle, yet reminded himself to be grateful for retaining his mana. He agreed with a determined look, simply saying, yes, his eyes reflecting resolve. He returned, chained and bloodied, declaring his comeback with strong determination, while a dark character loomed over him, ready to execute a sinister plan. He stood tall, bloodied and scarred, with a swirling abyss beneath, hinting at a foreboding fate yet to unfold. He confronted a monstrous creature in the depths, burdened by the reversed history of Jiang Murim, feeling the weight of his ominous destiny. Faced with a nightmarish character, he realized the demons had not invaded yet, a sense of foreboding hanging over the dim landscape. He clenched his fist, surrounded by a burst of energy, realizing the keyword is, yet, indicating an impending challenge. Standing at the doorway, revealing his bare torso and a determined expression, he foresaw the demons invading in 10 years, warning of Jianghu Murim's downfall. With confidence, he declared that this time would be different because he possessed 300 years' worth of memories, standing before fearsome demons with wicked smiles. He examined powerful artifacts and weapons, preparing for the upcoming invasion, seeking crucial information on the demon army and their magical abilities. Gazing intensely at the fearsome demon, whose fiery eyes and blazing aura emphasized its overwhelming power, he uttered the crucial warning, and most importantly, his eyes glowed red as he prepared to face his opponent, embodying determination with the title, How To Take Down above him. A lantern provided a warm glow in the dim room, with lantern written boldly beside it. The pavilion master asked if Bigong was inside. Bigong, shirtless and caught off guard, responded, inquiring about the matter. With a sinister grin, the pavilion master told Bigong that Vice Academy Master Cheon Sumyoung was looking for him. Bigong, still surprised, reacted in disbelief. He asked Bigong if he should deliver the message from the pavilion master. Bigong said he was more concerned about him. He mentioned the promotion request, advising caution. The atmosphere was tense, yet the character stood confidently in elegant attire. He expressed confidence in the test's difficulty, recalling Meng Sanpok's fate, and noted that the other likely had negative feelings towards him. He inquired why the man suddenly chose to become an official instructor while removing his coat, showing confidence. With a wide grin, he displayed confidence as excitement and anticipation surrounded him. He declared it the first step in fixing the academy, looking confident as a full moon illuminated the sky above the traditional building. He stood confidently under the moonlight, surrounded by traditional architecture, conveying a sense of determination and purpose in the tranquil night. Dragon Spring Academy, once a renowned institution, was recognized as one of the top 3 orthodox martial academies, now cloaked in mystery. 2 years earlier, the academy master and a top martial master mysteriously disappeared, leaving the academy shrouded in uncertainty. After a 2-year search, the academy realized the difficulty in replacing someone of his skill. The academy's decline was tied to his absence, and he reached for the door, aware of the significance of his return. With hands clasped behind his back, he prepared to confirm one last time with assistant instructor Sa Bigong and another man at the long table. Cheon Semyung, senior instructor of blade technique, questioned the seriousness of the promotion request, his mustache accentuating his authoritative demeanor. A character called someone a piece of trash with a smirk, confidently affirming his role as Vice Academy Master. Reflecting on his role in Dragon Spring Academy's downfall, he stood with mysterious hands poised over a door. With hands behind him, he addressed the 2 seated men, confirming one last time about assistant instructor Sa Bigong. He questioned the seriousness of the promotion request, skepticism evident on his face. Cheon Semyung, the senior instructor of blade technique, appeared doubtful. Cheon Semyung's eyes widened in surprise as he looked down, uncertainty evident in his expression, showing his unease about the situation. Buildings were engulfed in chaotic flames, with orange letters above indicating a fierce battle amidst widespread destruction. Amidst the turmoil, he struggled to breathe, panic visible in his eyes as he clutched a weapon, surrounded by fire. Large fissures appeared around him, chaos erupting as he stood at the center, determination visible on his face despite the looming disaster. Previously unseen monsters attacked helpless people mercilessly as the character prepared for the fight ahead. As monsters created havoc above, a character looked up, shocked and terrified, responding to the chaos with an anguished scream. Terrified, he screamed as monsters emerged, marking the beginning of the demon race's invasion. The young disciples of Dragon Spring Academy stood amidst flames, gripping their swords, with one urging others to stay away. A young man, stunned and desperate, realized his companions were killed by the monsters as flames consumed the scene. Dung urgently called his instructor as flames surrounded them, indicating immediate danger. Amidst the chaos, Dung noticed his instructors battling, realizing the peril they all faced. An instructor, with determination, blamed another for fleeing with treasures. Reflecting on the chaos, one instructor thought things might have been different if he had reported the situation or activated the defense system. In a dim room, an instructor lamented not preventing many deaths, recalling the screams of sacrificed disciples. He asserted that he is back in the past and that opportunities still exist. Smirking, he declared he'd never forget the Vice Academy Master's face and asked if he was called. Eager for discussion, he listened as the man explained the test for becoming a senior instructor. He contemplated raiding the demonic night stronghold, intrigued yet apprehensive about the challenge. Considering a dangerous task, a character suggested eliminating mountain bandits as a test. In the foreboding atmosphere of demonic night stronghold, a character stands resolute, ready to confront the encroaching darkness. Against the eerie backdrop of an ancient mountain, 2 bandits prepare for conflict, tasked with safeguarding civilians from their destructive actions. In a dimly lit library, Cheon Sung, Vice Academy Master of Dragon Spring Academy, examines a scroll, thinking, well, alright. Cheon Semyung, another Vice Academy Master, raises a finger, emphasizing the discussion's focus on an instructor's fundamental requirements. Dung Buyung, a senior instructor, asserts that senior instructors comprise the academy's primary force. Dung Buyung and Cheon Semyung confidently demonstrate their sword techniques, highlighting all senior instructors as martial masters. Un Bayuk, the archery technique senior instructor known as Soul Chasing Arrow, announces their recognition by the Orthodox Alliance, demonstrating his archery skills. Sang Pilji, technique senior instructor of the Dark Shadow Divine Sword, grips his sword determinedly, ready to face the coming challenge. Sang Pilji reflects on Pier's achievements, including defeating demonic leaders and bandits, while impatiently inquiring about his own deadline. Sang Pilji confronts a man angrily, expressing outrage at perceived rudeness, while the other responds arrogantly. He informed them they had exactly 2 weeks, warning that a delay of even a day would result in missing out on a promotion. He questioned the 2-week deadline with a smirk, revealing sharp teeth, and expressed concern about missing the promotion. He confidently said he would return in 3 days, leaving 2 surprised men at the table, captivated by his determination. 2 men sat at a table, one angrily shouted about a small character, while the other stayed silent and thoughtful. The Vice Academy master angrily questioned if they would indeed promote the arrogant kid, expressing frustration with dramatic gestures. The Vice Academy master smirked, hinting at the arrogant kid's potential success, while another character reassured instructor Dung not to worry. The Vice Academy master maliciously grinned, claiming their little assistant, instructor Sa Bigong, would never return. He ran quickly, confusion on his face, questioning the reason behind the sudden rush while a bold label read, "Haste." He glared, declaring Cheon Semyung a fake and accused him of scheming in the ominous atmosphere of the demonic night stronghold. During this period, the Green Forest Alliance began gaining recognition, although many remained unaware of them. Hanging upside down, his focus is evident as he contemplates the Green Forest Alliance's size. Startled, he questions the situation's gravity, realizing the Alliance's leader is a peak realm martial master. With a sly grin, he introduces himself as A.K. Gagum, the demonic night stronghold master, displaying confidence. Known as no ordinary bandit leader, he was believed killed by traitors but once led a deadly sect against the Orthodox Alliance. Despite betrayal, he survived, hunted traitors, and angered the Orthodox Murim, forcing him into hiding. A character stammers in surprise, questioning another's knowledge, while the other chuckles, dismissing the question's importance. He reflects on Sa Bigong's impressive duel, noting the power's explosive nature. He realizes such a display was due to concealing true abilities, emphasizing the duel's intensity. Determined, he declares the situation serious, insisting it wasn't just a duel, and states he wouldn't survive. He hesitates, uncertain. Trees blur and a mountain peak looms, adding tension as he considers his next move. He stepped onto the glowing symbol, activating the levitation spell as purple energy surrounded him. He floated above the rocky peak, recalling A.K. Gujiam and the swirling purple magic symbols beneath him. He expressed surprise as he realized fourth circle magic wouldn't be enough to defeat this formidable opponent. He declared the solution simple and flew toward the cliff, his long hair trailing behind. He resolved to enhance his mana, stepping forward with purpose as the grass moved beneath his feet. He walked along the path, the towering rock formation above as he prepared to circle up. He confidently stated his experience and knowledge in magic reached the 8th circle. He focused, his eyes glowing with purple energy, as "Search" appeared beneath him, signaling his powerful magic. He observed the ordinary-looking cliff and noticed a glowing purple orb at its center, indicating something extraordinary within. He stood beside a rugged rock face, his ponytail swaying in the green landscape as he contemplated his next move. He pointed at the rugged rock face, with a mystical glow emanating from his fingertip, revealing an unexpected secret. He pressed his finger against the glowing barrier in the rocky surface, sensing mysterious energy and uncovering hidden truths. Grinning confidently, he believed he was exactly where he needed to be, determined and ready as he stared at the words, "Made of Mana." He stepped towards the swirling portal, a visible burst of energy surrounding his boot as he prepared for the unexpected. Emerging from the swirling portal, he realized that numerous locations like this existed within the Central Plains. Before a massive structure, the words, "hidden behind mana barriers," loomed overhead, hinting at concealed secrets within its depths. Gazing intently at a glowing crystal floating ahead, the eerie light contrasted with the dark path, as whispers of "come" echoed around. With certainty, he acknowledged his intuition with a sharp gaze as the words, "I knew it," surrounded him. A shimmering special-grade mana stone pulsated with energy, surrounded by glowing symbols and rocky formations, radiating a mystical aura in the vibrant landscape. The text dramatically proclaimed that demons are intelligent beings from another world, continuously invading and dominating other dimensions. The character reflects on the dimensional travel technology that led to a portal and a towering character in a dark landscape. He considers a significant issue and identifies a critical flaw in the situation. Contemplating the portal's flaw, he notes that the time for living and non-living beings varies too much, leaving demons helpless. He observes the portal, reflecting on their solution, which glows ominously with purple energy. Standing in a dark cave, he thinks about the worlds they plan to invade, as swirling purple energy surrounds him. They secretly planted equipment for the future, preparing for upcoming challenges. The mana stone, glowing with purple light, is their power source, recovering their mana but is useless for those from the central plains. He raised his hand, surrounded by energy, contemplating the power within the glowing mana stone, thinking it had worked until now. He concentrated as energy surrounded him, extending his hand, ready to unleash power from the glowing mana stone. Under a vibrant sky, towering rock formations rise, with sunlight reflecting off their surfaces. A powerful surge of energy emerges from towering rock formations, bathing the surroundings in a radiant light suggesting danger. Moving quietly through the forest, he treads carefully, surrounded by shimmering leaves gently falling around him. 6 warriors advance in the dim forest, their determined expressions preparing them for an unseen challenge as darkness closes in. A bald warrior hesitantly speaks to the stronghold master in the dark forest, noting nothing seems amiss. Confronting a hesitant comrade in the dark forest, the bald warrior with an axe insists he made no mistakes. In the eerie darkness, a former leader of the heaven-destroying sect commands his team to search thoroughly, claiming he sensed a powerful energy surge. Marked by scars, the fierce warrior tells his opponent that understanding is beyond them, as a shadowy figure ominously appears behind him. Sitting atop a rock, a character triumphantly states he always believed in the opponent's martial skills, even as an ominous gathering looms. Bandaged and fierce, he glares intensely with glowing red eyes, demanding, "Who are you?" revealing his fierce intent. Perched confidently on a rocky ledge, a shadowy figure with piercing eyes contemplates identity, responding curiously with, "Me?" He holds a glowing purple symbol, embracing its power as shadows envelop him. Sitting on a rocky ledge, he is intrigued and asks, "Me?" while surrounded by swirling darkness. He identifies himself as an instructor at the Dragon Spring Academy, holding a glowing magical circle. 3 men in the shadows, one sweating, question the presence of a Dragon Spring Academy instructor at the location. A man, turned away, angrily instructs the others to stop speaking, exchanging worried glances. A man with glowing red eyes, wrapped in bandages, grips his weapon and questions someone about a recent explosion. With a playful grin, he asks with a mischievous glint what would happen if he were involved. Startled, he turns and exclaims, "Huh," as vibrant energy explodes around him. He reacts with wide eyes to a sudden explosion, as fiery energy intensifies the scene. With determination, he vows to kill his opponent, revealing his intention as energy courses through him. With red eyes and a bandaged face, he questioned with curiosity, hinting at hidden motives. He unleashed a powerful attack, causing a vibrant explosion of purple energy, revealing his strength. He released a striking attack, showcasing his resolve with a wave of purple energy. With wide eyes and a distressed expression, he revealed the intensity of his emotions amidst chaos, hinting at danger. He expressed surprise, marveling at the magical energy around his hand as he acknowledged the coincidence. Surprised, he gripped the glowing sword, realizing the extraordinary power within. With a grin, he revealed his glowing sword and declared his intent to kill, surrounded by the dark forest. He focused intently, facing the figure and releasing a powerful strike as colors clashed around him. With a sly grin, he urged her to seek vengeance for her subordinates, as neon hues sparkled ominously. With a furious glare, he demanded to know who confronted him, as his eyes glowed ominously. In a chaotic encounter, two warriors clashed, their swords glowing as energy bursts illuminated their fierce expressions. Amidst the battle, the warriors unleashed powerful energy strikes, vibrant pink and red arcs lighting up the stormy backdrop. The dramatic clash between the two warriors saw vibrant pink and red energy lighting up their surroundings. He confidently stated he was aware, claiming to be an instructor at Dragon Spring Academy, as energy bursts erupted around him. With a shocked expression and glowing red eyes, he exclaimed disbelief as explosive energy bursts surrounded him. Angrily, he shouted, "This bastard!" While fighting fiercely, realizing his opponent wasn't taking him seriously. With a pained grimace, he let out a fierce cry, showing his teeth as he faced his tormentor. With a howl of fury and crimson energy erupting, he unleashed a devastating attack against his foe. Determined, he charged forward, a glowing purple sword embodying his resolve amid chaotic energy. Amid crimson energy, he stood fearless as heaven-destroying hegemon divine arts loomed, signaling immense power. With glowing eyes, he roared, accusing someone of forcing him to unleash his core power. He questioned the group, demanding to know what kind of power was emerging, as a hand appeared from the rock. After being pushed off a cliff by traitors, he collected energy for revenge, demanding to know who dared to inquire. With wide, glowing red eyes, he expressed disbelief, questioning the surprising events unfolding. Unfazed, he declared indifference to losing against a villain, while his opponent stood amidst blue ice shards, announcing, "Freezing wave." Startled, he expressed disbelief as the other conjured an astral chain filled with power. Surrounded by ice shards, he wielded a massive blade, determined, with dark energy swirling around him. He launched a powerful attack, enveloped by a vortex of purple energy, the words echoing, showing his focus. He struggled against the restraints on his wrists, with purple energy crackling, determined to break free. He clenched his fist, purple energy radiating from the restraints, fiercely trying to free himself. He raised his arms triumphantly, holding glowing pink swords, while another character summoned a mystical orb surrounded by crystals. He swung his weapons with intensity, eyes glowing red, and let out a cry amidst the charged scene. He stood confidently, asserting that struggling was pointless, his demeanor calm and determined as he surveyed the surroundings. He warned that contact with a martial artist would drain their energy, revealing a spell crafted to defeat them. He glared, questioning his opponent's sorcery knowledge and accusing him of being a demonic cult member. He smirked, clarifying it was magic, not sorcery, while dismissing his opponent as a simple bandit. He shouted at his opponent, his bandaged face twisted in anger, expressing his frustration. He stood bound, expressing regret at dying in such a place, while the other asked about any regrets he had. He declared his need for revenge against those who manipulated his subordinates in the heaven-destroying sect. He vowed revenge on those who manipulated his subordinates, revealing the demon's connection to his power and struggle. He explained while tightly clutching a hidden object, suggesting secrets linked to his past and struggles. He expressed amazement at her determination when facing the menacing character with piercing eyes and a threatening stance. With a wicked grin, he declared that revenge should be pursued slowly and thoroughly, never giving up. Rage boiled within him as he questioned if someone was mocking him and accused the other of being just a sheltered kid. He asked if everything felt comfortable, his glowing purple eyes reflecting intensity and skepticism in the dim atmosphere. With wide eyes and bandaged head, he questioned, "What the hell?" as his glowing red eyes reflected shock. She expressed concern, noting he wasn't an ordinary insane man and speculated that something was fundamentally wrong with him, her hand raised as a warning. He stated he would let her experience it too, as his hand glowed ominously with purple light. Haunted by his past, he reflected on enduring torment for 200 years, his hands glowing ominously with purple light surrounding him. Surprised, he stared into the darkness wide-eyed, feeling a chilling presence, and questioned, among the eerie rock formations. He wondered aloud in disbelief about the mysterious place he found himself in, surrounded by towering rock formations. Shocked, he questioned what the madman had done to him as his red eyes gleamed in the darkness. His wide eyes, filled with rage and pain, flashed beneath the wraps, showing a primal expression. Flames and debris soared into the air after an explosion, while a scream highlighted the chaotic scene. Warriors engaged fiercely in battle, their shouts echoing as tension rose and an ominous character appeared above. In a dim lab, a character stood horrified before glass containers with lifeless forms, as a red hand emerged, indicating growing fear. A massive eye hovered above a skeleton pile, while panic surged with bold exclamations resonating throughout the scene. A fiery character with horns and glowing eyes dominated, exuding power and emitting a chilling roar. A character, mouth open with sharp teeth, expressed terror as the word "okay" in red heightened the scene's urgency. He clutched his face in horror as red-eyed terror overtook him, the word "oh" in red intensifying his panic in the forest. He screamed in terror as a dark character with glowing red eyes lunged at him, gasping and recoiling in fear. Turning away, he asked how that was, his expression tense against the shadowy backdrop. He showed a hand wrapped in bandages, predicting the future he will face in 10 years with a serious expression. Clenching his bandaged fist, he represented determination and strength, indicating the challenges ahead. Lying on the ground, he struggled to speak, whispering a fearful plea to kill, his bandaged body tense in the dim light. He gazed up in shock, wide-eyed as realization dawned, the night sky looming behind him. He begged for oblivion, tears streaming down his face, desperation clear as he repeatedly pleaded to be killed. She whispered, overwhelmed, saying she couldn't handle it, her back turned, creating an air of vulnerability. He gripped his sword tightly, acknowledging with understanding, as a bright light radiated from its blade, reflecting his resolve. Determined, he stated that action must be taken, gripping his sword while shadows loomed around him, highlighting his resolve. Under the night sky, the grand temple stands illuminated, revealing intricate architecture and a serene atmosphere, with shadows whispering secrets. Frustration marked his face as he grumbled in disbelief, expressing anger and shock at the unexpected situation. Amid tension, a massive sword stands upright, casting reflections in the shadowy room, while a gray-haired character kneels nearby. In a dim room, a character in traditional attire questions another about believing him, with a sword and a head nearby. With a sly smile, the character proposes discussing his new responsibilities as a senior instructor, positioning his fingers deftly. Under a vibrant sky, a majestic temple rises among lush trees, inviting exploration with its intricate architecture and tranquil atmosphere. He slammed his hand on the table, exclaiming that it was nonsense. Yeo Woonjin, the senior instructor, clenched his fist in anger, demanding to understand the situation, feeling the academy's expectations. Yeo Woonjin confronted Instructor Dung, questioning if he truly attacked the demonic night stronghold alone, while senior instructor Eun Baya contemplated silently. Instructor Dung Buyong revealed he visited the old sacred mountain earlier that morning, speaking in a serious tone about something significant. He found the bodies of the bandits along with AK Gagams, just as Sa Bigong had mentioned. Uncertainty clouded his mind as he contemplated his next move. Disbelief filled his voice as he insisted that except for AK Gujiam, all had their throats cut in a single move, highlighting his expertise in spear techniques. He questioned if it was true that AK Gujiam had hidden sword techniques, dismissing it as nonsense and challenging others to see for themselves. Frustration erupted as he demanded to know what everyone was doing, noticing the worried expression on one man's face. She expressed regret with hesitation, stating her sincere apology. Vice Academy Master Cheon Semyong sat silently, fingers interlaced, lost in deep thoughts. Cheon Semyong furrowed his brow, confused by the situation, thinking it didn't make sense. He remembered meeting AK Guzium, a powerful master, questioning why allies abandoned him for a single night. He quietly doubted Jean Beck's involvement, insisting the old man lacked the necessary skill. He pondered the implications as he spoke, addressing Instructor Dung with thoughtful contemplation. He inquired if she could still contact the Ghost Shadow Manor, showing surprise and curiosity. He discovered that the Ghost Shadow Manor is a notorious assassin organization in Murim, known for taking jobs as long as they're paid. In a dimly lit room, characters discussed gathering information about Sa Bigawang, expressing doubts about promoting him to senior instructor. In the bustling hall, a character reassured instructor Yeo not to worry, confidently stating he had an idea while holding rolled-up scrolls. A shocked man examined a scroll, questioning its content, as another character revealed it listed the disciples he would manage after his promotion. With wide eyes, the man realized something significant, exclaiming, "Oh, I get it now." Laughing heartily, one man commented on another's clever idea, expressing confidence in his position being well used. One man, laughing, remarked that another might quit his job at the Ghost Shadow Manor due to his inexperience, finding the situation amusing. He walked away, confirming that he gave the lists to Instructor Sa just before the meeting. He stood close, contemplating the earlier conversation while gripping his sword firmly. He walked with confidence through the corridor, reflecting on how someone merely smiled and claimed understanding, despite the uncertainty. He smirked, thinking the old men were fools, behaving exactly as he had predicted. He moved confidently, considering his regression to this time and place for a specific purpose. He pondered Nuzran's ability to regress time and how often he had contemplated this power. He wondered how to prepare for the looming demon's invasion. He stood resolute with a glowing orb, contemplating the enemy, an army that had vanquished countless dimensions, unsure how one person could confront such vast power. He considered his options, revealing his powers with glowing orbs, and declared that raising an army was his only choice despite many possibilities. He insisted he sought not weaklings like those who perished before his regression, but a formidable army skilled in magic and martial arts. He stood confidently with arms crossed, addressing a diverse group of warriors, each ready to prove their strength and skills in the upcoming challenge. He focused on the first-year disciples, noting their reputation as troublemakers and the concern this caused among other students. He acknowledged that, despite their talent, the first-year disciples' loud personalities were causing issues and raising concerns. He wondered if the trouble stemmed from the first-year disciples' lack of talent. He speculated about whether the first-year disciples felt overlooked due to not having prestigious backgrounds, while another boy stood confidently behind him. He assumed those older than him thought he couldn't handle challenges, as a group of confident disciples stood behind him, displaying varied expressions. He reflected that the older generation never anticipated the emergence of two heroes who excelled during the demon's invasion. He was a martial master who reached the evolutionary realm in his late 20s, serving as Murim's last hope against the demons with his glowing sword. He was the leader of the Heavenly Sword Alliance, a character of strength and wisdom, guiding others against dark forces with unmatched power. Another skilled archer led a specialized assassination squad, taking down the most demons alone with precision. In Demon-Slaying Divine Archer, a master archer, known for unparalleled skills, prepared to face a new challenge in the demon world. In Demon-Slaying Divine Archer, a character grins, showing sharp fangs, and introduces himself confidently, expressing pleasure in meeting her. A confident instructor announces his arrival as the new teacher, sparking excitement among the students. A grand building stands tall under a bright sky, indicating a key location with potential encounters and hidden secrets. A character, determined, unleashes powerful energy, their expression a mix of rage and focus, marking a pivotal struggle. With wide eyes, he gasps ACK, frozen in shock as panic grips him, highlighting the moment's intensity. Gasping and in pain, he crouches while another character approaches with concern, emphasizing the urgency. He confidently instructs Gokburk to rise, reminding him that their external arts training is incomplete, showcasing his authority and determination. Tan Lijiang urges Gokburk to stop, conveying urgency in the atmosphere at Dragon Spring Academy. Observing her discomfort, he inquires if something is wrong, concerned others might think he's bullying her. He tells the man to be grateful, boasting about his Dragon Mountain tiger-splitting fist arts, while the man insists it's merely the swordsmanship from his clan. With a wide grin, he taunts the man, questioning if he truly belongs to the One-Star Sword clan. Mocking the man's weak martial arts, he questions if he really wants to continue learning that. Clenching his fist in anger, he confronts someone with disbelief, signaling an intense moment. He demands the other to stop clenching fists, expressing frustration in a heated exchange. He menacingly suggests facing off in another duel, as his opponent lies defeated. Gazing at the ground, he reaches out with a trembling hand, whispering, "No way." He commands Gokburk to halt, while a kneeling character remains on the floor, trembling in the dimly lit room. He warns Yun Wookyung about the impending exam period, urging him to stop causing disturbances. He expresses frustration, repeating "okay," while another character warns him to feel fortunate as they gather in a tavern. He looks up with gratitude and nervousness, softly saying "thanks" as he stands in the tavern. He pauses in the tavern, deep in thought, uncertainty clear as he silently wrestles with his thoughts. He stands with his back turned, his coat's dark collar framing a serious expression as uncertainty takes hold. He sits quietly, worry etched on his face, contemplating something important in a traditional room. He stands in the doorway, surprised to hear the names Yun Wookyung, Gokburk, and Tan Lijung cadets mentioned. He appears surprised as someone approaches, asking for clarification. The other character nervously explains Vice Academy Master Cheon Semyoung's message. The muscular character, surprised, explains they won't be in Camellia class anymore but will transfer to a new class. The strong character stands with hands clasped, observing a group of surprised students in blue uniforms, sensing a significant change in their future. He smiles confidently, addressing the cadets below, welcoming them, and announcing himself as their instructor from that day forward. A puzzled character questions the unfolding events, while another stands casually, appearing confident and amused, suggesting he isn't worried. He yells at the group to stop messing around, showing frustration. Others in the background seem startled, but one character remains confident and unfazed by the outburst. He expresses frustration about unexpectedly changing classes, questioning their luck with the current unqualified instructor. He questions whether he'd follow such a ridiculous command, clearly distressed by the situation as he wipes his brow. Confronted, he hears criticism from the instructor about Cadet Gokburk's insolence towards the head instructor. He angrily yells, expressing frustration and disbelief over what he perceives as the instructor's unearned position. Smirking defiantly, he declares he has no intention of learning from someone who just recently mastered internal arts. Focusing on his glowing hand, he recalls Academy Rules Article 3, Clause 5, showing determination to follow the guidelines. He stood startled, eyes wide, facing the other character, both equally shocked by the sudden appearance between them. Surprised and sweating, he whispered a question as the ground shattered beneath him, creating chaos and further startling him. He yelled loudly with wide eyes, confronting the other character, as tension escalated between them. He explained that misbehavior by a cadet could lead to punishment aimed at guiding them toward better conduct. In anger, he shouted, his fist bursting into flames, radiating fierce energy and signaling determination. He yelled furiously, insulting someone as he unleashed a powerful move, igniting the air with energy. He reflected on his swearing and violence toward a superior, channeling intense energy, his movements a blur. Fiercely, he punched forward, sweat dripping, as a voice warned about using internal arts in class without permission. Gritting his teeth, he felt pain as he braced himself, exclaiming that it was the worst of all. In agony, he screamed as his power surged, delivering a devastating strike that illuminated the atmosphere, feeling both desperate and determined. He yelled, eyes wide with fear, as panic took over in the darkness. He commented that the martial arts skill was lacking, a smirk on his face as he moved forward with purpose. He unleashed a series of fast strikes, each one powerful, demonstrating his martial skills. With a strong kick, he sent his opponent flying, the impact showcasing his immense strength. Determination in his eyes, he pushed through the attack, body filled with energy and resolve. He glared, addressing someone with defiance and urgency, clutching his torn shirt. He commanded someone to stand, stating his guidance wasn't complete, contrasting with the figure on the ground. He stood in disbelief, eyebrows raised, questioning the kneeling man about the occurrence. He appeared amazed as another man explained Gok Bol, top-ranked among new trainees, seemed to be losing. With anger, he crouched, teeth clenched, expressing his frustration with someone he despised, sweat on his brow. He launched a powerful attack, energy bursting from his fist, sending shockwaves through the air, highlighting the battle's intensity. Tension rose as he gritted his teeth in frustration, while she remained determined amidst the surrounding chaos. Coughing and struggling, he stood before her as she shook her head disapprovingly, questioning the unpleasant situation that had unfolded. Clenching his fist, he expressed regret, commenting on the unfortunate nature of the situation. He gripped the instructor's arm tightly, asserting their duty to suppress emotions while teaching. Recoiling in shock, his face showed fear as he clutched his forehead, surrounded by crackling energy. He held another's wrist firmly, tension clear in his grip, as intense emotions surged between them. Holding another's wrist tightly, he showed intense emotions, while a third man watched anxiously, caught in the rising tension. He remarked that the action seemed harsh for a cadet, addressing instructor Sa Bigong. Smirking, he commented that this was the moment his opponent finally chose to take action. Yun Wukjung stood dramatically with a glowing sword, watched by a shadowy character. Yun Wukyung confidently faced a grand temple, known as the second son of the destructive Sword Yun clan, a prestigious clan in the Central Plains. Yun Wukyung showcased his martial skill at Dragon Spring Academy, impressing new students with his prowess. At Dragon Spring Academy, Yun Wukyung demonstrated unmatched talent, becoming the youngest Supreme Peak Martial Master by 20 and ranking among the top 10 Martial Masters of the Orthodox Alliance. He was destined for a brilliant life, revered as one of the Central Plains' absolute martial masters, admired by all. Yun Wukyung gazed upward with determination, holding his sword tightly, considering possibilities. But that is if lingered in his thoughts. He stood firm, eyes fixed on monstrous entities above, their dark forms twisted in a purple haze. Yun Wukyung pondered deeply, realizing these terrifying beings had not materialized before, leaving an unsettling mystery. During the demon invasion's early stages, he fought in countless battles, showcasing determination against overwhelming darkness. Amidst chaos, with flames behind him, he felt the weight of loss, knowing the demon onslaught decimated the Yun clan, sparing only him. Despite the despair and grief surrounding him, he remained defiant, tears streaming as anger marked his expression. He sat on the ground, bloodied sleeve evident, reaching out with a pained look, seeking help. He traveled through the Central Plains, battling demons and gathering survivors to form an alliance beyond factions. In a dire situation with odds against them, he felt determined to overcome. In chaos, he charged forward, shouting, while others followed, ready to face the storm. He led the remaining martial artists in a final stand, prepared for upcoming challenges. He remembered the past, standing with a spear, as memories of struggles haunted him. He charged to the battlefront, unleashing sword energy that cut down demonic beasts instantly. He shouted, hair flowing, facing chaos with tension and determination. He was the hero and hope of the Central Plains, a character of strength amidst despair, facing challenges. He shook the other's hand firmly, a silent promise lingering as the scene shifted to uncertainty. He looked intensely, ready to act, emphasizing the urgency of the moment with the word, now. He viewed the situation with disdain, considering him another arrogant noble from a prominent family. He mocked young Master Yun Wukyung's laziness, urging him to take action with a heavy attitude. He extended his fingers with intent, a tense atmosphere suggesting a significant moment was imminent. He found the situation amusing and questioned instructor Sa Baigan, surprised by the assistant instructor's newfound strength. He considered it unexpected as he faced the imposing man in traditional attire, catching his breath after their intense encounter. He sat down, bloodied and embarrassed, reflecting on how pathetic it was to display his new power to cadets, feeling humiliated. He pondered whether it was due to fated encounters, his expression serious and thoughtful against a clear blue sky. He smirked, calling the other sharp, while the other questioned his curiosity, set against a serene backdrop of traditional buildings and a clear blue sky. He proposed that adherence to his training might lead to revealing something important, but the other person firmly declined, asserting it was unnecessary. He voiced confusion over the sudden changes in the class roster and declared his intention to formally complain to the academy about the responsible individual. He stated his lack of interest in learning from someone who boasts arrogance due to mere luck. He stood with his arms crossed, wearing a thoughtful expression, pondering the arrogance of those reliant on luck. He advanced confidently, his boots striking the stone floor with purpose in the dimly lit space. He observed several characters ascending the stone steps, their footsteps resonating as they approached a fortified structure. He watched as several characters ascended the stone steps, their footsteps echoing as they moved with determination toward the fortified structure. He furrowed his brow and turned, while a young boy nervously looked up at him, both facing the foreboding stone steps ahead. He looked up with wide eyes, sweat on his forehead, clearly startled by the unexpected situation. He smirked, displaying amusement, and let out a soft snicker that reflected his confidence. He noted the other's bravado and his companion's question about the potential gain from him. He asked if something remarkable could occur with just 10 days of training. He pointed at a nervous guy, suggesting he might be strong enough to defeat his opponent, while the latter sweated. He stepped forward decisively, his footstep marking his presence. He paused, turned with a serious expression, and questioned her words, wanting to understand their meaning. He smiled confidently, ready to repeat as necessary, mentioning significant progress after 1 week of training. He stood confidently, dismissing the weakling behind him, asserting his ability to overpower someone like him. He looked shocked and confused, demanding to know what was happening with the instructor's unexpected behavior. He appeared terrified and overwhelmed as someone pressed a hand over his mouth and shouted about insanity. He gazed back with anger and determination, his features sharpened by shadows, emanating intense energy. His intense gaze cut through the shadows as he asked if she was ready to stand by her words. With a bright smile, he confidently affirmed his agreement, clearly showing his joy. He playfully proposed a bet, suggesting they would face each other in an official spar in 10 days, surprising one character. He declared if he wins, she must follow his training without question, while another character struggled to hide their reaction. He stated if she wins, she could make him leave the academy or beg. With a smirk, he teasingly asked if there was something he desired from her. He declared he needed nothing from her, but curiosity lingered, hinting at more to come. He warned they should prepare for the match in a week, while other characters prepared for the challenge. 2 characters stood together, one anxious, the other calm and focused, ready for the challenges ahead. One character screamed in fear, covering his ears, while the other, surprised and annoyed, said he was startled. A character, terrified and covering his ears, reacts to his startled friend, who appears both annoyed and surprised, explaining his sudden fright. One character screams in terror, covering his ears, as his annoyed friend scolds him for being too loud. A character shouts in shock, questioning the instructor, while his friend teases him about his overflowing energy. He urges someone to calm down and promises to explain, expressing disbelief about being forced to fight Yun Wukyung. He struggles with another character, demanding to be released, while the other cries out in frustration, highlighting their tense conflict. Confidently, he announces that today's class is cancelled, and the cadets in the background look relieved as one lies on the ground. He informs that the schedule for the next class will be sent individually by tomorrow, while a cadet lies on the ground, and another wonders about the situation. Feeling hopeless, he laments his fate after the public spar, as another cadet lies defeated on the ground, leaving a pool of water behind. He sighed, questioning why she assumed he would lose, urging that he just needed to win. Reflecting on losing to Gok Burke during his first public spar after enrolling, he felt the weight of disappointment. One character remembers the daily torment since a loss to another, who stands victorious. He asks her if she knows about the monster, Gok Burke, while standing shocked with visible bandages. Holding a sword confidently, he stands over a defeated opponent, showing the intense battle's aftermath in an ancient city. Reflecting on his defeat, he realizes he couldn't land a strike on Yun Wukyung, who was completely victorious. He thinks of Yun Wukyung, acknowledging his exceptional nature, feeling a mix of admiration and contemplation. Admiring Yun Wukyung, he notes his martial arts talent stands out, while pondering a rhetorical question. With a confident smile, he reassures others not to worry. He points decisively, emphasizing his words with his finger, leaving no doubt about his intentions. He explains they are stronger than him, pointing at the boy to emphasize his words, while the boy listens intently, surprised. In the first year of Camellia class, Dan Lijiang, from the One-Star Sword Clan, stands out, ready to make an impact. Dan Lijiang stood stunned, questioning the dark character behind him, Pardon, as an eerie presence surrounded him. A divine archer, dedicated to eliminating demons, faced a backdrop of epic confrontations and heroic battles. An ornate building loomed while a character cried out in distress, feeling impending danger or disappointment. He anxiously stated that nothing could be done about their class and head instructor suddenly changing. He questioned why he must duel Yun Wukyung publicly, seeking understanding from his companion. With a confident grin, he declared that winning the duel was essential to prove his abilities, gesturing toward his surroundings. He expressed frustration, questioning the benefits of his involvement, gesturing animatedly to emphasize his point. Menacingly grinning, he bared his teeth as revenge loomed below him, reflecting his dark intentions. She looked surprised, eyes wide, softly asking, "Pardon," indicating unexpected news or a revelation. A menacing man leaned in, furiously questioning another, who appeared shocked and confused, mumbling about knowledge of his past struggles. He grinned and asked how she felt about his recent victory over their mutual adversary. He inquired if she was excited after the event while demonstrating a powerful move that energized the surroundings. He questioned her actions with a piercing gaze, seeking confirmation of his suspicions. He taunted her companion about the frustration of failing to achieve revenge. He recalled that even Gok Burk couldn't harm Yun Wukyang, pondering if she could eventually become strong enough to defeat him. He lay bloodied and beaten, questioning whether someone like her could achieve vengeance. He asked about her situation, suggesting it would be an appropriate gift for her current state. He appeared contemplative, hesitating before whispering the word if. He smiled confidently, affirming his determination to become strong. The other character assured him of success. He declared the matter unrelated to Gok Burk, expressing his sole desire to surpass his current strength. He grinned ominously, revealing his teeth with a smile that hinted at hidden intentions. He approached the wooden practice dummy with a smirk, eager to test his progress. Looking down from the rooftop, he observed the warrior practicing diligently against the wooden target, showing an unwavering quest for strength. He sat calmly and stated it was time to evaluate her skills, contrasting his serious demeanor with the bright sky. His focus was intense as he imagined facing Yun Wukyung, determined to maximize his martial arts potential. He sighed with relief while training in a serene grove, feeling the calmness enhance his efforts. During vigorous training, a swift strike caused the practice dummy to explode, demonstrating the power of his effort. A powerful lunge shattered the practice dummy into pieces, highlighting his exceptional training skills. As he shouted, his eyes revealed fierce determination while preparing to unleash a potent attack. With unwavering focus, he targeted the dummy, delivering a series of powerful strikes that resonated through the air. She focused intently, sweat accentuating her determination. He urged her to continue, encouraging her to exert maximum effort. With intense focus, he shouted in frustration, delivering a powerful swing as sweat trickled down his face. With piercing eyes, he gritted his teeth, caught in silent horror. Caught in the rain, he battled against the forces pulling him down, panic evident in his expression. He gasped in pain, struggling to breathe near a training dummy, fighting exhaustion. Sitting against a blue sky backdrop, he rested his hand on his chin, displaying calm confidence in his dark attire. In despair, he crouched, hair damp, wide eyes showing shame and sorrow. He stared intently, questioning if the other understood what troubled him. Frustration evident, he wondered why his energy dispersed during basic practice. He believed he had mislearned his clan's martial arts, so he revisited the basic moves and found no issues. Suspecting a problem with his meridian points, he consulted a clan elder but found nothing wrong. He considered the possibility of lacking talent or having an unknown illness. She interrupted, denying this. Surprised, he listened as another character explained his meridian points were more spread out than others. Shocked, with sweat on his face, he asked for clarification on the unexpected remark. Kneeling in confusion, he listened as the other explained his meridian points were more spread out in his mind than usual. He spoke about how this rare constitution usually offers more benefits than drawbacks, noting the character's youth and lack of internal energy create a challenge. He explained that all martial artists need to release their internal energy from their danshans through their meridian points. He mentioned that, with wider meridians but mediocre internal energy, her power didn't focus properly. He pointed out her internal energy kept dispersing due to wider meridians, preventing proper focus. He admitted it was his first time hearing about the situation, his brow furrowed and sweat on his temple. A faint smile appeared as he realized everything made sense. He lay on the ground, lifeless and surrounded by blood, with an arrow marking the aftermath of a battle. He crawled on the ground, bloodied and exhausted, red eyes fixed on a fallen comrade. In a shadowy setting, he stood with a hood and mask, his intense gaze reflecting determination and mystery. Facing a kneeling character, swords in hand, he mentioned the information was something he found by chance. Over the kneeling figure, both armed, he revealed the information was discovered accidentally, tension in the air. Sensing the strange atmosphere, he wondered if there was a deeper story behind the person. With a sly smile, he concluded the explanation, hinting at secrets yet to be revealed. He confidently reassured the young boy there was a solution to their dilemma. He assured the boy that the solution was straightforward, keeping him close under the sky. He advised the boy that his meridian points were fewer than others and suggested enhancing internal energy for progress. He informed the boy that quickly enhancing internal energy was not possible, while a radiant aura enveloped him. He mentioned to the boy that there was only one method to teach him presently, the aura still glowing. He smiled and instructed the boy to keep gathering internal energy, stating it was crucial before starting basic moves. He concentrated, warning that once enough energy was gathered, significant changes would occur, intensity in his eyes. He executed a swift strike, energy swirling as he aimed for the dummy before him. He launched a fierce attack, energy radiating as he targeted the empty space. He attacked the training dummy powerfully, aiming to reveal her true power. He grinned, energized and fearless, ready to face the challenge, his hair tousled and eyes determined. He stood confidently with arms crossed, a subtle smirk on his face, as his long hair flowed in the sunlight. The instructor observed a student who expressed disbelief about his internal energy, while another reassured him, suggesting he could relax before collapsing. He declared with excitement that he had never felt so energetic before, holding his weapon confidently against the scenic backdrop. He shouted joyfully, stating he had never felt so alive, his hair flying as he embraced the moment. A puzzled "huh" escaped him as darkness intensified around him, with mysterious characters appearing. He expressed confusion with another "huh," while looking at the bright sky through an oval opening, catching his breath. He gasped and coughed violently while lying back, overwhelmed by his situation. Surprised and disoriented after collapsing, he struggled to breathe and asked about their feelings, confusion clouding his vision. He called out to his instructor, admitting to feeling weak and drained. The instructor explained it was a minor side effect of using his full power for the first time. He noted that she had never properly used her mind meridians before, causing her unadapted body to be shocked. He reassured her that there was no need to worry, explaining that the side effects would fade after a few months. She listened, appearing relieved. Shocked and anxious, he questioned, "Wait, hold on. A few months?" Sweat began to form on his forehead. Realizing the duel was only a week away, he felt a surge of urgency. The ornate dojo shimmered in the afternoon light behind him. A swift weapon sliced through the air, producing a fierce whooshing sound, intensifying the tension of the battle. He worried about facing two major problems while holding a weapon. Sweat formed as uncertainty clouded his expression against a vivid sunset backdrop. Preparing to unleash a powerful technique, he channeled all his stored energy into one strike, aware that failure would result in his collapse. Meditating, surrounded by a glowing aura, he realized his energy core was too small to sustain his power for long. An attempt would lead to collapse, which was strictly forbidden. Asking how it was going, he stated it had been easy to understand so far. She replied affirmatively, indicating comprehension. He questioned the connection to what she was holding, emphasizing the importance of focusing on more significant matters. Reflecting on the connection to her possession, he questioned how long it took to gather energy for the duel. He questions her strategy to delay Yun Wukyung, a confident glimmer in his eyes, while holding a weapon. Worry crosses his face as he asks himself about his next move, a bead of sweat trickling down as he clutches his weapon. Determination in his eyes, he grips the wooden weapon tightly and declares there's only one solution. He shouts for her to evade until she's collected everything, preparing for action with intensity. A fierce blow lands, leaving him gasping in pain, caught between shock and determination as his opponent strikes powerfully. In surprise, he yells, "What are you doing?" as his hair flutters, showing agitation and confusion. He urges her to focus and gather energy, warning not to lose sight of the opponent's weapon. He conjures a vibrant purple spiral called the illusion, channeling energy for a powerful magical effect. In surprise, he exclaims, "HHUH," as he struggles against the attack's force, holding onto the pole amidst swirling energy. Teeth clenched, he grimaces in pain as a powerful force strikes him, causing his hair to stand on end. The character stands before a grand pagoda, sensing an upcoming adventure as the sun sets vibrantly. He expressed frustration when his friend noted he was complaining without using any inner energy. Sitting on the ground, tired and confused, he listened as his friend urged him to rise, questioning the validity of this training. Sweat dripping down, he questioned the purpose of the training, wondering about its unusual nature. Greeting Dan Lijung, he revealed his true intentions, questioning if he was merely being a bully. He explained Dan Lijung's weaknesses and how to improve, emphasizing that the methods had been clearly demonstrated. Confidently, he promised results, insisting this was the only way to make an impact on Yun Wukyung within a week. The training was tough and painful, and he questioned if it was harder than facing humiliation from Gok Burk and Yun Wukyung. He wondered if she would pass up the opportunity to prove he wasn't worthless after being treated poorly. Turning away, he felt the burden of his past, struggling with the idea of being seen as worthless despite a chance to prove himself. He apologized to the instructor, gripping the wooden staff tightly, sensing the mounting tension. He pleaded urgently to continue the dodge training, determined and ready to endure it all day if necessary. He appeared confused and protested, questioning the absurdity of continuing for an entire day, surprise written on his face. In disbelief, he stammered at the notion of working non-stop for the rest of the week. He charged forward with determination, exclaiming his readiness to face whatever awaited. He shouted desperately, urging someone to stop, tears streaming as he held his weapon tightly. He screamed desperately, overwhelmed, as the vibrant sunset illuminated the ancient temple against the dark sky. A week later, the grand temple stood majestically, surrounded by lush greenery and intricate architecture, as if time paused to admire its beauty. A large crowd gathered around a wooden arena, where two characters faced each other, tense and ready for confrontation under a serene, snowy atmosphere. Three figures watched from a balcony as participants gathered below, excitement in the air, with words of encouragement and challenge echoing around. A character stands confidently at the forefront with arms crossed, while a crowd gathers behind, filled with anticipation. With eyes closed and a serene expression, he remains still as the crowd watches, their anticipation evident. Young warriors discuss Dan Leung's endurance, one suggesting he will fall with a single blow, the air thick with anticipation. A group of warriors debates Dan Leung's abilities, one doubting his countermeasure while another remembers seeing him before, speculation in the air. He observes two warriors in a fierce battle, recalling how one endured a week of stick beatings. He glares intensely, his fierce expression reflecting a warrior's determination as he prepares to strike. Frowning, he calls someone an idiot and advises them to remain silent if they consider themselves trash. Scoffing at the notion, he dismisses the idea that a coward like Yun Wukyung could defeat him. Looking down, he expresses disappointment over her gullibility, remarking on her falling for a scammer's lies. With an intense stare, he is confused by the instruction directed at him, a question mark hanging in the air. He initially declared his disinterest, but then proposed his own condition, to which another character agreed and inquired about it. He confidently stated that if he won, she must promise to leave the academy independently, while others observed. He expressed his resolve, emphasizing his unwillingness to waste time again, his frustration apparent. He leaned against the wall with confidence, declaring the deal and swearing on his name. He seriously considered the stakes, aware that losing meant attending classes and training without complaint. He smiled confidently, acknowledging approval, but highlighted a possible misunderstanding. He surveyed the duel arena, redirecting focus to Dan Lijun, as others gathered to witness the event. He stood resolute, gripping his sword, sweat on his face, prepared for the challenge ahead. He stood in silence, his expression calm yet intense, contemplating the upcoming challenges. He eagerly clapped his hands, ready to begin, as anticipation grew. He stood ready with his weapon, focused on his opponent, as the rules declared victory through forfeiting or losing consciousness. He confidently stated that lethal or life-threatening strikes were forbidden, adding that he would be the final judge. He prepared for the confrontation, saying, "Now then," as tension filled the air between the young warriors. He shouted, urging everyone to begin the duel, stepping forward ready to face his opponent. He stood ready, a bead of sweat trickling down his face, as the moment arrived to start the duel, shouting, "Start." In a blue and black outfit, he prepared for the next move, exuding determination against a traditional backdrop. Gripping his sword tightly, sweat trickled down his face, focused on the challenge ahead amidst a majestic setting. He unleashed a powerful strike, his hair wild, showing determination as the sword sliced through the air, embodying strength. Caught off guard, he stared wide-eyed with confusion, blood spatters, and a bandage on his face indicating a recent struggle. As colors flew in the air, a character thrust a weapon upward, silhouetted against the bright sky, creating an intense moment. Holding his sword tightly, he stands with wide eyes as he is commanded to surrender. He grips the pole tightly, recognizing his arm is fine despite the tension and sweat. He calls someone a fool, mentioning the agreement to fight and questioning their intentions. He recalls the moment filled with deadly intent, questioning the opponent's true motives. He acknowledges that his opponent could unleash devastating power if truly desired. Overwhelmed, he expresses doubts about his abilities, considering others' perception of him as the top student. In disbelief, he realizes someone as untrained as him could defeat the powerful opponent with a week of training. Facing his opponent, armed and ready, he recalls the past week's intense training, feeling nervous yet determined. He smiles gently, his eyes sparkling with warmth, exuding kindness and calmness. Confidently wielding a weapon, he stands with a powerful aura amid vibrant purple flames. He smiled awkwardly, sweat glistening on his forehead, and let out a relieved laugh, feeling a mix of surprise and joy. Breathing out, he whispered to himself, reminding his thoughts, as a wave of relief washed over him. With determination in his eyes, he declared his desire to become stronger than he currently was. Reflecting on the past week, he gripped his sword tightly, surrounded by a glowing aura, resolved to gain strength. Calmly, he called his opponent an idiot, reminding him of the chance to leave the fight unhurt. With determination, he lunged forward, gripping his sword tightly, ready for action in the intense battle. Fiercely, he leaped into the air, declaring that his opponent had brought this fate upon themselves. Their swords collided with a powerful clash, creating a burst of energy as both fighters demonstrated their strength and resolve. During the fierce duel, one fighter leaped forward with determination while the other stood firm, both wielding swords in a display of skill. He wondered if he reacted in time, his expression revealing surprise as the confrontation approached. He swings a blade swiftly, releasing a burst of energy as it cuts through the air, capturing the moment's intensity. He panics, realizing the near loss of the chi he had collected, narrowly avoiding danger. He focuses as he unleashes the Supreme Dragon Heaven-Severing Sword, executing the first technique with precision. He exclaims in surprise while unleashing the Berserk Dragon's Rage Torrent, creating powerful energy waves through the air. He gasps, startled by the immense power of the sword chi, feeling its overwhelming intensity. He wonders if it's just a feeling, glancing around as the atmosphere feels charged and unsettling. He finds the attack easier to dodge than anticipated, maneuvering swiftly through the charged atmosphere. He notices intense expressions on their faces, reacting thoughtfully to an unexpected situation unfolding before them. He glares, a bead of sweat trickling down his face, showing his frustration and determination as he confronts the situation. He stands confidently with sword in hand, reflecting on his progress, suggesting he has learned something valuable. He grasped the Supreme Dragon Heaven-Severing Sword with determination, preparing for his third technique, surrounded by crackling electric blue energy. He initiated Twin Dragon Fang Severance, delivering a decisive strike as blue energy surged from his movement, demonstrating his focus and power. His eyes widened as a bead of sweat traced down his face, showing his shock and anticipation for what lay ahead. He gasped, recognizing the sword technique as the one that had previously defeated him. With great force, he swung his weapon, sending debris flying and sparks erupting from the clash, creating an energy-charged scene. Executing a powerful downward strike, the blade glimmered as it descended while another character prepared for the impact. An intense stare held a mix of surprise and determination, urgency filling the atmosphere. Taking a deep breath, he moved forward with sweat glistening on his forehead, wielding a stick with fierce focus. Sweat dripped from his face as he concentrated intently, determination clear as he readied for the challenge. He swung the bat with force, his eyes filled with determination as he neared his opponent, prepared to deliver a decisive blow. He moved forward, swinging his sword precisely, surrounded by a brilliant blue energy that highlighted his skill and determination. He acknowledged his opponent's strength, speed, and precision, admiring the skill of the Central Plains' renowned swordsman clan. Determined, he prepared to dodge incoming attacks, recognizing the formidable challenge he faced. He contemplated his struggle to understand a unique sword technique unlike any he had seen before. He unleashed powerful strikes, his moves swift and intense, demonstrating a distinct fighting style. He recognized the technique his instructor had used on him all week, executing powerful strikes with precision. In shock, he watched a swift blade pass by, feeling the tension and intensity of the moment. His eyes widened, showing a mix of fear and determination as he confronted imminent danger. He moved forward, his foot hitting the ground and sending water splashing, driven by determination. Standing confidently in the square with his sword, he faced the challenge as the crowd watched eagerly. Yun Wukyung hesitated, causing surprise among the onlookers below. Two observers questioned the event, unsure of its reality. Two characters expressed disbelief about a situation. One doubted its authenticity, while the other speculated if it was merely an act. Convinced, he wondered about Yun Wukyung's motives for such an action as crowds gathered behind him against traditional architecture. He stared silently, deeply contemplative, surrounded by a heavy atmosphere. Determined, he reached for the sword, gripping the hilt tightly as intense resolve filled the air. He expressed regret for a past insult, appearing serious against a bright sky and traditional buildings. Acknowledging the other's growth over the past week, he stood confidently against a blue sky and traditional architecture. He questioned the other's knowledge of the Supreme Dragon Heaven-Severing Sword, wielding a glowing blue sword with determination. His eyes widened in shock as he realized something significant, muttering to himself, "That's..." Frozen in amazement, he stared at the swirling vortex above, realizing its immense power and murmured, "This is incredible." He raised his sword high, channeling the immense energy of the Supreme Dragon Heaven-Severing Sword and preparing for fierce dragon annihilation. Confidently, he challenged her to evade the attack, promising to accept defeat if she succeeded. They expressed surprise at the powerful swirling force, questioning its nature, while another identified it as a sword technique. In awe and disbelief, he questioned the swirling force, as the crowd murmured in curiosity and confusion about the strange sword technique. He gasped in shock, sweat on his face, realizing that the person he called "that crazy bastard" had achieved something unbelievable. Confidently entering the arena with a glowing sword, he was met with cheering from the crowd, excited for the showdown. He watched intently as a mysterious character walked away with a glowing sword, wondering about his destination. The moon rose over the rooftops of ancient towers, as the night before the duel was filled with anticipation. Surrounded by training dummies in the dojo, he gasped in shock, sweat dripping down his face, overwhelmed by the moment. He noted the other's impressive dodging skills, realizing this was an opportunity, while panting from exertion. He questioned whether this strategy would help him avoid all of Yun Wuqiang's attacks, his face marked by dirt and sweat. He expressed shock and desperation at the unexpected developments, feeling overwhelmed by the situation. He acknowledged Yun Wuqiang's cleverness, recognizing that constant dodging might allow the opponent to plan countermeasures during their intense sword duel. He warned that if she lasts until the end, he would probably use that. He considered the greatest scale of sword art Yun Wuqiang could employ, pondering its strength and potential impact. He generated a swirling vortex of energy, gripping his sword firmly, feeling the exhilaration of power surrounding him. He lifted his sword, summoning a vortex of energy called Fierce Dragon Annihilation, demonstrating his martial skills and battle thrill. He warned with determination that dodging was impossible, his serious expression showing his focus on the upcoming challenge. He insisted that dodging was useless, revealing that it would engulf the entire stadium, causing his opponent to question how to counter this overwhelming power. He asserted that nothing is truly unbeatable, his serious expression indicating confidence and resolve. He observed the swirling storm of sword chi, recognizing it as a manifestation of martial arts flaws. He faced the Fierce Dragon Annihilation, understanding its purpose to intimidate adversaries with sheer force. He stared in disbelief, contemplating the meaning behind the shocking revelation. He asserted calmly that there was only one solution, leaving a tense atmosphere. He urged movement, driven by determination despite the cold and the energy at his foot. He released a powerful energy, forming a spiraling blue vortex, reflecting his focused intensity. He advanced confidently, a glowing blue blade in hand, leaving light trails as he moved. He stared with determination, a bandage on his cheek, as blue energy crackled around him, embodying progression. He gasped in surprise, seemingly recognizing Yun Wuqiang, his expression showing shock. With determination, he gripped the sword tightly, preparing to respond, aware his martial art had been noticed. His piercing eyes glowed as he unleashed a powerful wave of energy from his sword, asserting dominance in battle. Determined, he struggled to escape, blue energy crackling around him, illustrating their clash's tension. He realized his surprise would come in response to an unexpected situation, marking a crucial turning point in his journey. Gripping the shimmering sword tightly, he recalled the command to unleash his long-suppressed anger, preparing for a pivotal moment. He swiftly dodged the attack, focus unwavering, as his opponent thrust forward with a powerful blue sword, energy crackling dangerously. Yelling fiercely, he channeled energy through his sword, determined to strike decisively and overwhelm his opponent. He declared he would charge at his arrogant foe, wielding his glowing sword with determination. A brilliant burst of energy erupted from his sword, illuminating the surroundings with an intense glow. He unleashed a powerful strike, sending a wave of blue energy crashing toward his opponent, determination in his eyes. Dan Luyong stood close, unsure, asking about the feeling, while another character, confident and composed, lightly brushed his hand against Dan's shoulder. Dan Luyong and his friend observed a crowd within a tall building, listening to the cheers from below. He glanced at his friend, who was visibly excited as they engaged in playful banter. Listening intently, Dan Luyong heard his friend's thrilling news, while another friend peeked from behind, curious to learn more. A frustrated man, sweating, clenched his jaw, his gaze filled with anger and determination. The young man turned to his companion with a confident smile, exclaiming the exhilaration of the moment. Surprised, he remained silent, contemplating the seriousness of the situation. With excitement, he agreed, adrenaline rushing as he anticipated what was next. Sunlight illuminated the traditional Asian architecture, emphasizing the intricate rooftops and calm atmosphere of the village. He walked confidently through the building, a wooden staff behind his back, mixing mystery and purpose. Peering through the slightly open door, he noticed a dark shadow, hinting at secrecy and anticipation. At the entrance, he holds a wooden stick while others engage in serious discussion at a table. In a dimly lit room, tension rises as she observes two men, one stretches, the other remains serious. With a confident demeanor, he looks ahead, his dark hair framing his face, contrasting with the room's serene atmosphere. His intense gaze cuts through the room, sensing something wrong, as shadows heighten the tension. Sitting thoughtfully, he fixes his sharp gaze on something unseen, contemplating as light filters through intricate window designs. With a confident smile, he says, "All right then," blending charm and determination in the beautifully decorated setting. He announces it's time to start the first class, amidst elegant rooftops under a vibrant sky. In frustration, he slams his fist, exclaiming angrily as energy crackles around him. He pounds the table furiously, claiming that those people supported it just moments ago. Clenching his fist in frustration, he laments the situation, expressing betrayal towards the Vice Academy and Master Chiffon. He questioned why they hadn't convinced Sa Bigong to leave, while another character hesitated to respond. He doubted the cadets' dedication to follow him, while another mentioned the insistence on continuing training under Sa Bigong despite concerns. He questioned the plan to switch classes again, noting past issues, while another worried about reports being sent to the Yun clan. He expressed concern about trusting Yun Wooyoung with a rookie, while another insisted it affected the Academy's reputation, considering it critical. He accused Vice Academy Master Cheon of shifting blame and declared others were merely seeking favor with the Yun clan. He doubted Yun Wuqiang's loss to a low-ranked Sword Clan member, while another clarified that Wuqiang withdrew. He expressed disbelief over Yun Wuqiang's supposed loss, while another emphasized Wuqiang's status among the Yun clan's best. He felt increasingly concerned, stating that the more he learned about Sa Bigong, the more they couldn't allow him to go unchecked. He paused, realizing something important, and his expression turned serious. He wondered if they had updates from the Ghost Shadow Manor while his companions awaited news on their request. He expressed anger, noting the audacity of a mercenary group. His intense red eyes glowed as he warned the fearful man to be cautious with his words and actions. Startled, he demanded to know who was present, his voice sharp with tension. He remarked on the foolishness of the question as a shadowy character loomed behind him, increasing the tension. He questioned the scenario with confusion and anger, shocked that even as a peak realm martial master, he sensed nothing unusual. Frustrated, the man in blue confronted the shadowy character, recalling the words with disbelief, unable to comprehend the situation. The cloaked figures, with glowing eyes, stated they were there to fulfill the request, creating anticipation. He demanded more details about the mysterious Sa Bigong, while the cloaked figures from the elite Ghost Shadow Manor stood behind him. He examined the sketch of Sa Bigong, a character full of mystery, holding the paper firmly. He frowned upon hearing plans to send almost 100 Niangs for investigating one rookie instructor, creating tension at Ghost Shadow Manor. He observed the group discussing the thriving condition of a shady place, contrasting its reputation with visible wealth, noting that their corruption might not concern them. He chuckled at the Orthodox sect members' absurdity, noting their hypocrisy as they secretly investigated their own subordinate. He laughed mockingly at the members of Ghost Shadow Manor scavenging for money like everyone else. A bald man with a thoughtful expression addressed a masked character, referring to them as Number 5 while contemplating a plan. The masked character reminded his companion about their mission, emphasizing their vow to endure any dirty and despicable task until they find and serve him. He stammered an apology, pleading for forgiveness, while his companion reassured him, saying it's fine and urging him to concentrate on their mission. He suggested they investigate Jean Beck, the one who had raised him since childhood, while deciding to just locate and surveil the target for now. He asked if the rumor about a fated encounter was true, while the other dismissed it as nonsense. Despite the skepticism, he considered the tale of a fated encounter, pondering how someone could become a martial master overnight. He exclaimed in shock, wondering if Sa Bigong had secret supporters, his eyes wide and expression tense. He considered the possibility that Sa Bigong had infiltrated the area as a covert supporter of an opposing faction, realizing the potential threat he posed. He cautioned others to remain vigilant, advising them to proceed carefully without alerting the target, while another character laughed at the captain's seriousness. Two mysterious characters expressed skepticism that anyone, regardless of strength, could detect the stealth techniques of the Ghost Shadow Manor. Dressed in dark clothing, he prepared with determination, indicating it was time to commence the task. Standing confidently on the bridge, he gazed at the tranquil water lilies, as his companion listened closely, sharing the peaceful moment during their journey. He conversed with an elder about recent rumors at the academy, both standing on the bridge, engrossed in their discussion. His expression showed surprise as he voiced disbelief about everything he had been told, revealing astonishment. Expressing concern, he assured another man there was no need to worry, despite the jealousy and envy surrounding the hero's path. Reflecting on the extraordinary nature of a fated encounter, he expressed surprise at the significant changes that had occurred. He pondered how a duel might have initiated everything, admitting initial shock, but then laughed, considering it somewhat excessive. He thought about the duel and understood it could have ended in disaster, as Vice Academy Master Cheon seemed intent on eliminating him. He stopped for a moment, acknowledging with sincerity that he had been expelled. He remembered a time before magic, recalling his defeat in a duel with Meng Sandiak, feeling both regret and determination. He considered losing his assistant instructor role and being reduced to menial tasks, while two characters laughed at his expense. Unable to endure the humiliation, he chose to leave the academy, tightly holding his belongings as he departed. He roamed without direction for a time, feeling lost and without a way to support himself. Standing before a grand building, he thought about becoming an escort warrior in an agency. He focused on mastering physical techniques and spear fighting, becoming a first-rank escort warrior after years of hard challenges. He talked about his 10 years as an escort warrior, mentioning his travels across the Central Plains and the network of contacts he developed. He remembered visiting Dragon Spring Academy, where an older man, longing for the past, gestured with emotion. That night, he understood the day's significance, his eyes wide with fear. Amidst chaos, he stared at the towering dragon, its serpentine body entwined in flames and destruction. Frustrated, he clicked his tongue and quickly turned, ready to confront his opponent, tension heavy in the air. Water splashed as a pink lotus bloomed serenely among lush greenery, a tranquil scene interrupted by sudden motion. He inquired why she threw a rock, admitting he reacted to seeing an ugly frog. He questioned her about harming the frog, while she laughed, recalling when he caught frogs for her as medicine. By the serene pond, two characters conversed among blooming lotus flowers, their surroundings hinting at vibrant village life. Two mysterious figures lingered near a grand building, their intentions hidden as tension filled the air. Navigating through lush greenery, one character worried, wiping sweat from his brow, while the other, overwhelmed, covered his face in frustration, expressing despair. Amid dense foliage, two masked individuals stood, one asked if number 7 was okay, while number 7, wincing and holding his eye, complained about someone throwing a rock. Two masked characters converse, one questions if they've been discovered, while the other dismisses the concern, suggesting it's merely bad luck. A bald man in a mask asks if someone truly doubts the ghost shadow manner's cultivation techniques over a minor issue. A man with spiky hair, wearing a black mask, responds nervously to authority, while a confident character insists he should have faith in his abilities. As the sun sets, a character heads back to his quarters, while someone nearby is instructed to keep an eye on him. A character relaxes in a chair with sunlight streaming in, thinking about securing instructor Sung Dan, Dan Lijiang, and Yun Wukyung. He reflects with satisfaction, noting his first post-regression objective is complete and wonders if it's time to bring her in. He contemplates that if his memory is correct, she should be present, surrounded by swirling lights. He feels a strong pulse of emotion as he gazes intensely, brow furrowed, lost in thought. He notices the door is open and casually invites someone inside, emphasizing warmth and welcome. He comments that the other is acting as if he expected his arrival, while the other casually replies, suggesting he thought he'd be restless by now. Yun Wukyung stared intently, questioning the other's unpleasant expression, asking what was wrong. The lantern's warm glow created a moment of suspense, leaving an unspoken question lingering among the characters. With a sly smile, he asked what the young master of the destructive Sword Yun clan was doing in such a humble place. He silently contemplated his surroundings, his dark attire contrasting with the light ambience of the room. Surprised and confused, he lay on the bed, glancing at the person looming over him, pondering the situation. Recalling the previous duel, he wore a serious expression, reflecting on the encounter's intensity. Reflecting on the duel with Dan Lujing, he realized their training was crucial for the upcoming battle, remembering his initial misjudgments. An eerie certainty settled over him, realizing his opponent understood every move and technique of his swordplay, leaving him intrigued. He confronted her, revealing his knowledge of the Supreme Dragon Heaven-Severing Sword, and she questioned how an outsider knew the Yun clan's techniques. Smirking playfully, he responded with a mysterious tone, suggesting intrigue and mischief. He leaps with a blade in hand, wearing a confident expression. One character mentions the arts of the Zheng clan, while another insists on seriousness. He expresses surprise at the other's lack of awareness, adding disappointment if they hadn't realized. He commands the other to stop trying to move past, emphasizing authority. He urges honesty if the other wants to be his disciple, while questioning his true curiosity. He smirks, teasing if the other came to verify his awareness of the flaws in the Supreme Dragon Heaven-Severing Sword. He glares intensely, determination in his eyes, focusing intently to confront the challenge. He prepares to unleash the Supreme Dragon Heaven-Severing Sword, channeling ancient power as a dragon roars behind him. He unveils the greatest swordsmanship in Zhongyuan, known for its destructive power, ever-changing sword paths, and seamless execution. Under a starry night, he reflects on youth and mastered swordsmanship, realizing a profound truth with exceptional wisdom. Amidst swirling energy, a powerful statement emerges: the Supreme Dragon Heaven-Severing Sword is not an unbeatable martial art, highlighting future challenges. He clenched his fist, stating that as the heir of the great destructive Sword Yun clan, overlooking his clan's martial arts was not an option. He smirked and confidently asserted that while others could have their thoughts, he had something important to share. He considered the future events, aware that significant changes were on the horizon. He warned that a time would come when martial artists would find things like tradition, honor, nobility, and reputation meaningless. He urged her to concentrate on becoming stronger than her current self, his intense gaze emphasizing his words. He instructed her to remove any obstacles in her path without hesitation, his determined expression underscoring his command. He said they would discuss further details later, gesturing meaningfully as he headed toward the exit, while she reflected on his words. He suggested they talk later, advising her to trust her instincts for now, his serious expression fixed on her. He remained silent, a tear rolling down his cheek, as he resolved that they should consider the matter settled. He smirked, playfully questioning her sudden interest in the wooden pillow, while she looked puzzled, responding that it was insignificant. He complained about the annoying frog outside, pointing towards the noise source. He gazed at the village below, feeling determined as night enveloped the landscape. He stood on the roof with masked companions, contemplating the night sky with calm confidence. Master Jean Beck sat in his room, focusing on recovery and pondering his next steps. A former Gamsu medic now oversees the Recovery Boni Pavilion. He arrived at Dragon Spring Academy 5 years ago. The masked ninja and bald man discussed their investigation into a medic, noting his lack of martial arts skills and ordinary appearance. The ninja contemplated the medic's suspiciously clean past, pausing under the moonlit sky. Number 7 appeared with a bruised face, prompting another character to question his appearance, leading to a tense silence. Number 7 stood with a bruised face, as another character nervously said, "So? While they exchanged a tense glance. In a dimly lit room, 2 masked figures stood, one wide-eyed as the other raised a large sword, ready for confrontation. A character with a bandaged head gets hit on the face, observed by a masked character who is surprised. A bandaged character is tackled by a masked one, indicating conflict. A masked character questions a bandaged man about remaining undiscovered, while the man worries about their opponent's carelessness. A man with a swollen eye claims he can't resolve issues, while another expresses disbelief about being found. A cloaked figure warns not to doubt his clan's technique, dismissing the act of throwing things as coincidental. An older man, tears on his face, recalls tougher times and encourages himself to persevere. He seriously warns the elder about upcoming challenges, under a clear sky. One character warns another with determination to confront their opponent if another threat arises, amidst looming shadows. A character reassures another to stay calm, explaining their relocation from accommodations to avoid more accidents. A worried character quietly warns another about a restless person's unpredictable actions, urging them to remain silent. A character anxiously warns another to hide among the bushes as someone approaches. Another character walks confidently through a quiet courtyard, his footsteps softly echoing as he nears the greenery. He urgently states he needs to leave while casually standing by a bush in the tranquil courtyard. He mentions drinking too much tea, holding a stick, and feeling uneasy in the serene surroundings. Amid dense greenery, he quietly doubts escape, whispering to himself about the slim chances. He hides in the foliage, grimacing in pain with a bruised face, anxiously whispering about the low odds of getting away. Surprised, he covers his mouth as shadows outside the foliage hint at hidden threats. He angrily shouts at someone, questioning their actions while surrounded by greenery. Confused, with a shocked expression, he asks, "Huh?" as tears and green splatters indicate something unexpected. In the courtyard, holding a teapot, his serious look contrasts with his companion's shocked face, marked by green splatters. Holding a teapot, the character mischievously offers, "Want a cup?" Shock overtakes him as he stands injured and dazed, a green splatter on his face against a backdrop of trees. In disbelief, he confronts the betrayer, tears streaming, accusing them of knowing all along. He grips the gleaming sword, preparing for the imminent confrontation. With a menacing shout, he lunges at his target, declaring intent to kill, while the other character watches in alarm. Eyes glowing with intensity, he lunges forward and shouts "Barrier," ready to unleash his power. Delivering a powerful blow, energy crackles as he attacks the fallen opponent, vibrant colors illuminating the scene. Amidst shattering shards of light, he questions the reality of the barrier surrounding him. Overwhelmed, he clutches his forehead in pain, sweat trickling down, struggling to comprehend the intensity. In a fierce clash, he strikes with incredible force, sending sparks flying as his opponent stumbles, overwhelmed by the impact. With a sinister grin, he introduces himself as a member of Ghost Shadow Manor, creating an unsettling atmosphere. The defeated man lies on the cracked ground, groaning, his bloodied face twisted in pain and humiliation. He coldly remarks that number 7 deserves his fate for meddling, as the defeated character lies in the garden. He smiles at his friends from Ghost Shadow Manor, confidently greeting them with a wave. He lunges with anger at his target, as a voice commands him to stand down, calling him number 5. He glares intensely, focusing as he prepares to confront his opponents, urgency and tension in his presence. He stands confidently, hands bound, with shadows of defeated foes behind him, their defeat evident. He greets instructor Sa Bigong, expressing surprise at her awareness of their presence, dressed in dark attire with a sword. He smirks, introducing himself as Sa Bigong, aware they have been following him, mentioning the leader of the frogs. He smirks, questioning the wisdom of revealing his identity in front of his surveillance target. He dismisses the question as absurd, considering the implications of using his glowing sword on the target immediately. He laughs, questioning if she truly accepts the situation and wonders about how he possesses such knowledge about them. He states with determination that the truth will soon be revealed, his expression showing unwavering resolve. He threatens to begin cutting off limbs one by one, exuding confidence while the other character remains vigilant and ready. He stands confidently in a flowing purple robe and boots, surrounded by pink energy, demonstrating his formidable power in the dynamic setting. He smirks, wielding his mana blade as shimmering blue energy emanates from his hand, indicating his battle readiness and skill. With a smirk, he releases vibrant red and blue blasts from his mana blade, displaying his remarkable battle prowess and determination. He dodges an attack with fierce determination, as another cloaked figure launches a powerful strike, the air charged with energy. In a powerful clash, he deflects an attack, ice blue energy erupting from the impact, while his opponent remains focused and engaged. With a grin, he taunts his opponent, asserting that escape will not be easy for them. He stared in disbelief, gripping his sword tightly, ready to confront the unexpected threat before him. Energy crackled around him as he swiftly dodged, his blade glowing red in preparation to counterattack against the character wielding a blue sword. He acknowledged his limitations, noting the absence of the overwhelming destructive power of the AK Gujium. Moving swiftly, he used sharp techniques targeting vital points, embodying deadly precision that emphasized his lethal skills. Realizing the overwhelming energy in the sword, he noted that no barrier would withstand it while he struggled to maintain his stance with the mana blade. He felt the surge of power as the mana blade unleashed a brilliant blue energy, embodying his anticipation for the battle. A cloaked ninja charged forward with a glowing red sword, confronting two men, one on the ground and the other standing in shock. The cloaked ninja stood confidently, wielding a glowing blue sword, while two men gazed in shock, one remarking on the strangeness of the situation. The cloaked ninja stood poised, wielding a glowing blue sword, while a spectator struggled to define the unique power and style being displayed, noting their difference from traditional martial arts. The cloaked ninja gazed intensely, questioning how one could accidentally discover such power, suspecting it might be demonic arts. He smirked, questioning if anyone had ever truly witnessed demonic arts, dismissing it as nonsense since the demonic cult's fall years ago. He asserted that it had nothing to do with demonic arts, acknowledging it wasn't typical martial arts either. He acknowledged understanding, responding with an intrigued expression, indicating awareness of the situation. He realized that the character before him was not easily subdued, expressing no personal grudge but understanding the seriousness of the situation. He vowed to take the other's life, surrounded by vibrant green energy, as a shadowy figure lashed out, embodying the tension of Ghost Shadow Manor. With fierce determination, he declared to take everything, his glowing pink eyes reflecting resolve beneath a shadowy mask. For the Ghost Shadow Manor's mission, he unleashed a powerful attack, causing a dramatic splash as energy surged around him. With intense focus and wide eyes, he prepared for the inevitable clash, the weight of the Ghost Shadow Manor's mission heavy on his shoulders. With a sudden burst, red energy lashed out, striking the tree's trunk, leaving deep scars as nature trembled before the unleashed power. With a powerful move called Soul-Destroying Stride, he struck, sending sharp energy lines bursting toward the ground as the atmosphere electrified with tension. Using an exclusive movement technique, he swiftly advances, his eyes glowing ominously, casting shadows as he moves through the air. He demonstrates a powerful skill that completely erases his presence, bewildering his opponent with incredible speed. Focusing intently, he unleashes a brilliant blue energy wave from his hand, determination apparent as sweat trickles down. In a moment of confusion, he releases a vibrant blue energy wave while swinging a glowing red sword, determination on his face. Swiftly moving, he channels powerful energy as his sword glows red, embodying the Ghost Soul Flash technique. A sudden, nearly invisible strike leaves him bloodied and shocked, struggling to comprehend the speed of the attack. He looks fierce and determined, his mask stained with blood, fully aware of the sudden, deadly attack. Leaping into the air, he is surrounded by a swirl of purple energy, his fierce expression showing determination as he prepares to attack. He conjures a swirling purple illusion, grinning confidently at the worried ninja below, sensing danger. Leaning closer, he is surprised and confused, wondering what is happening as shadows loom ominously. He is struck forcefully, his body sent flying by a dazzling blue light, creating a dynamic scene. He spins quickly, launching a powerful attack that generates a blue shockwave, pushing his opponent back as tension builds. He glances nervously to the side, urgently calling out to someone he addresses as "Sir." He coughs violently, taken aback by the sudden arrival of a character questioning his pride in stealth skills. Amid glowing violet eyes and electric sparks, he confidently claims his clear vision, while two shadowy figures crouch in the background. He stands confidently, proposing a deeper conversation, while the other, kneeling and coughing, looks up in surprise. He, with determination, declares the culprit to be the Origin sect leader, recalling the Ghost Shadow Manor Lord. A mysterious sect, ghost-like in the Jianghu, avoids official events, keeping their true intentions and nature hidden. A bloodied hand on the floor, surrounded by dark stains, suggests violence and despair. Decades ago, a massacre resulted in the leader and his blood relatives' deaths, while most of the Jianghu remained unaware. Only those born and raised in the Origin sect, who remained loyal to the end, knew the tragic truth as three characters knelt in the somber aftermath. With fierce, glowing eyes, one character recalled the survivors who formed the Ghost Shadow Manor, gathering information across the Jianghu. In Ghost Shadow Manor, 3 shadowy characters, part of a top-tier mercenary organization, discussed their involvement in risky and perilous missions. In a tense moment, a character in a flowing cloak declared that everything aimed at restoring the fallen origin sect, while another, restrained, questioned if this was the mission they mentioned. Breathing heavily, a character struggled to comprehend the situation, feeling the stinging pain on his battered face as his lips trembled with disbelief, whispering, "Impossible." He revealed that the true history of their sect was a closely guarded secret, never shared in decades. Smirking, he stated he wanted to be straightforward about it and suggested they focus on completing just 2 missions. He demanded they complete 2 tasks, promising information about the thing she had been pursuing, expressing urgency in his gaze. Clenching his fist in anger, he demanded respect, accusing someone of speaking nonsense, his expression fierce and determined. Reflecting on their 2 decades of effort, he felt the weight of their mission as he stood determinedly, sharing a glimpse of hope amidst their struggles. He questions her understanding of their search, his face marked with scratches and his voice tense. His eyes widen in shock at the significance of the origin sect's blood. He considers the unique bloodline that can inherit martial arts, pointing to the birthmark on his wrist. He agrees, reflecting on the core of their sect's restoration and the challenges they've faced. He asks how she knows this, but she insists she will reveal no more, urging him to decide. He demands she accepts his request for information, suggesting she could waste her life or resume their actions. He bows his head, appearing distressed, as silence fills the air, reflecting his thoughts. He kneels, surprised, as a figure in a robe approaches him, tension evident. He stares with shock and determination as something profound unfolds. He grips the sword tightly, determination evident as he prepares for the challenge. He agreed to the mission with confidence, extending his hand to the other character, ready for the journey ahead. He cautioned that any deceit would be met with retribution, determination clear in his eyes. With a sly grin, he offered the first mission, excitement evident as he prepared for the upcoming challenge. The traditional building silhouette loomed under the moonlight, its curved rooftops suggesting hidden secrets within. 2 bloodied characters lay on the ground amidst chaos, expressions frozen in terror, as one struggled to breathe. Amidst the horror, a terrified character pleaded for the violence to stop, struggling with the sight around them. He felt a surge of energy, breathing heavily, as another character's hand glowed with purple electricity, causing him pain. He gasped in pain beneath her grip as her hand crackled with purple energy, demonstrating her immense power. Wide-eyed, the vice leader of the Black Scorpion gang realized the danger as the demon Manhwa channeled crackling purple energy. The leader confronted the vice leader of the Black Scorpion gang angrily, accusing him of past crimes with flames blazing behind them. She, filled with anger and vengeance, claimed the surviving women had hired her to ensure his demise while he struggled beneath her, calling her derogatory names. He, surprised and confused, exclaimed his inability to gather internal energy, questioning the strange feeling in his hand. He, bewildered, wondered why his internal energy was dissipating as she gripped his face, surrounded by a mystical aura, making the situation surreal. In pain and anger, he gasped, shouting at her, questioning her fear of the looming danger while purple energy crackled around them. She, in a tense standoff, declared herself the vice leader of the Black Scorpion gang, ready to strike, while he pleaded for mercy. His finger emitted a powerful spark, electrifying and stunning her as she recoiled from the intense energy directed at her. He gasped, eyes wide with shock, caught off guard by what he saw ahead. She stood ominously, covered in blood, gripping a sword, her expression calm yet chilling as she gazed at the fallen character. With her eyes closed, she appeared serene, a gentle sigh escaping her lips though tension lingered in the air. Standing in the dim room, a white dove flew by the window, its wings fluttering softly against the night sky. In a dimly lit room, she reaches toward a white dove that flutters past the window, maintaining a calm and intrigued expression. He holds a scroll tied with a ribbon, pondering his next commission, as shadows deepen around him. She gazes at the note with wide eyes, contemplating its significance. He speculates whether she is an instructor at the Dragon Spring Academy, observing the grand architecture in the background. He yells while swinging his sword with intensity, staying determined and focused on his training. He advises his training partner to stop being foolish, to release tension, spread his legs, and adjust his wrist angle slightly. He commands his partner to repeat the position 200 more times. Frustrated, the partner exclaims while catching his breath. He questions the disrespectful attitude, asking if his partner is being sassy with his methods, while the startled partner pleads before getting hit. He accuses his companion of not making the other character take action, while the second character watches with indifference. He stands with a sword, gazing ahead in contemplation, in an arena filled with anticipation and readiness. He stands quietly, eyes closed, preparing for what lies ahead. He questions whether the character is making progress, while another wonders if he is merely resting instead of acting. A realization strikes him, leading to a frustrated exclamation as he grapples with the vast sky. He expresses disbelief, questioning if someone truly considers a rival equal, asserting more effort is needed to wield the sword. He remains silent, focusing intently as someone affirms, "Yes. That's good, Yun Wookyung," emphasizing the moment's importance. He stands confidently with a glowing sword, receiving guidance to harness his unique talent, promising growth beyond traditional methods. He hesitates, speaking to his instructor with uncertainty, while the instructor observes thoughtfully, with an air of curiosity and potential. He looks up nervously at his instructor, stating he hasn't completed his chi circulation yet and voices his growing concern. He appears worried as he asks if he can focus only on circulating his chi, while the instructor insists he must gather more internal energy to solve his problem. He is surprised, insisting he's not hiding rare elixirs, while another character suggests he might be concealing something in the ornate boxes. One character instructs another to circulate his chi, emphasizing it should be done outside of eating and sleeping. The other nods in understanding. A character believes the other feels pressured and acknowledges his victory over Yun Wookyung was due to tricks. He walks along the sidewalk, stating that although the situation is dire, he has a more pressing issue to address. Gazing intently, he ponders his next move, contemplating with a focused expression as he thinks, "Let's see." He looks at the other man with concern, asking if it has really been 10 days since their last meeting. Worrying about a lack of contact affecting his plans, he overhears someone mention instructor Sa Bigong. He hesitates, contemplating the time since their last encounter, and warmly greets instructor Dong Buyang, expressing joy at seeing him again. Observing the man's displeasure, he questions why there was a strong reaction upon seeing him. Busy with his class and feeling annoyed, the other man insists he has been merely wandering around since earlier. He curses, expressing frustration about a past event, and urges his companion to head to the main hall immediately. He stands with his back turned as a character at a desk informs him that Vice Academy Master Cheon Semyung requests his presence. After some time, he greets instructor Sa and asks about her well-being while clasping his hands thoughtfully. Smiling, he shares that teaching talented cadets fills him with pride as a senior instructor. He thanks her for the exceptional cadets she has trained, and she acknowledges the relief in knowing this. Acknowledging her well-being with a smile, he explains that Dragon Spring Academy is part of the Orthodox Alliance for Martial Arts Training. Smirking, he addresses her concern, noting that despite her new senior instructor role, the Orthodox Alliance remains cautious about her experience. She instructs him to be respectful, while he observes her calmly, seated at his desk in the elegantly styled room. He grimaces at her apology, mentioning that the Orthodox Alliance has sent an inspector to assist him, as she strides forward confidently. Walking confidently in an elegant pink dress, she draws attention with her graceful stride. She warmly greets instructor Sa Bigong, her elegant pink dress accentuating her graceful figure in the softly lit room. She introduced herself as Mei Xiaolin from the Orthodox Alliance's inspection department, her hands resting gracefully. He was puzzled, his expression showing confusion as he hesitantly addressed the character before him, referring to them as his instructor. Laughing, he apologized, admitting he was taken by her beauty, while she thanked him for the compliment, blushing in her elegant pink dress. An imposing inspector, with a thoughtful demeanor, commented on Mei Xiaolin, noting her as a remarkable young master in the Orthodox Alliance, achieving mastery at a young age. She advised him against acting impulsively, urging him to do his best as a senior instructor and treat Inspector May with respect. He laughed heartily, agreeing with enthusiasm, displaying a wide grin that showed approval and confidence. His gaze was intense, sharp eyes revealing a mix of determination and curiosity, creating a compelling scene. Confidently standing on the wall, arms crossed, he spoke about her first commission, while she listened attentively, intrigued by the task. He asked if she knew about the soul-taking celestial maiden, the assassin, his expression tense and serious, sweat forming on his forehead. Confused about the sudden mention of the celestial maiden, he asked about her, while the other confidently affirmed awareness. She stood over the fallen bodies, a solitary contract assassin known for her unmatched success in every mission. He had never encountered her, but rumors spoke of her targets found lifeless and her unmatched beauty. He smirked and questioned if the mission was to eliminate the soul-taking celestial maiden. She firmly declined. He confidently instructed to summon the celestial maiden, noting her presence at Dragon Spring Academy. He expressed surprise when told to inform Cheon Semyoung about the need to cancel the commission due to unforeseen circumstances. He was taken aback, clenching his hand tightly in disbelief at the thought of cancellation. He was shocked and questioned someone's irresponsibility, while another character apologized, citing an urgent matter. The ninja assured that he would introduce someone suitable for the task and would cover the commission fee as an apology. He recalled contacting her multiple times for missions before, suggesting he could handle this task effortlessly. She stood confidently, questioning his foolishness, revealing her reputation as a merciless assassin, and warned that no matter his strength, she would find a way to kill him. He smirked, mocking his companion's concern. The other, irritated, warned that if he died before revealing the promised information, it would leave him in a dilemma. He acknowledged the truth, stating she was a very dangerous woman, explaining his cautiousness as he stood with his hands clasped behind his back. He smiled with a mischievous gleam, expressing that he needed her even more, while she blushed in response. The ominous castle loomed under dark skies, its towering spires and crumbling stones evoking mystery and foreboding. A group of warriors faced a monstrous threat in the dark, stormy castle, as chaos erupted and a chilling scream echoed through the air. As chaos intensified, a bright blast erupted from the dark castle, illuminating the stormy skies with a menacing glow. In a burst of radiant colors, the character unleashed a powerful attack, igniting brilliant hues amid the chaos. With glowing red eyes and a sinister grin, the character channeled dark energy, summoning crackling lightning and swirling magic circles, creating an ominous atmosphere. With crackling magic in hand, he unleashed a powerful attack called Void Cannon, while Judgment Thunder flashed ominously around him, intensifying the electric atmosphere. With a surge of magic, he conjured swirling blue and purple symbols, preparing an explosive attack that sent a fiery blast towards his target. Above, a character hovers, surrounded by glowing symbols and intricate runes, preparing a powerful spell. The character reveals a grin of sharp teeth, accompanied by a chilling aura, as the word hiss appears ominously. Eyes wide with intensity, the character questions in a threatening tone, asking if this is all she can offer. A creature with fiery eyes and massive horns looms, surrounded by smoke and flame, instilling dread. Glowing eyes and smoldering armor, the fiery creature stands ready for battle, flames dancing around. She wonders how her consecutive 8th class magic failed against an unharmed opponent in the shadows. With fiery eyes, he warns Schwitz to struggle more, threatening execution if he doesn't comply. Rage coursing through, he yells to silence his opponent, expressing frustration and anger. Determined, he unleashes a fiery attack, a glowing orb swirling around him aiming for victory. With intensity, he unleashes a powerful attack, flames spiraling around, showing fierce determination. He concentrated on casting the 9th Circle Extreme Destruction spell, surrounded by a swirling energy. An intense glow appeared as he realized the spell was persisting, causing confusion but also determination. From his fingertips, a fiery orb emerged, lighting up the dim surroundings. He struggled within a hexagonal energy barrier, gasping, while a monstrous shadow loomed. A bright explosion of light erupted from the monstrous character, sending shards in every direction. His face twisted with rage as the shards scattered, revealing his powerful presence in the chaotic energy. His look shifted to one of fury, determination, and raw power, reflecting his inner turmoil. Lying in bed, he panted heavily, his sweat-covered chest showing his exhaustion and struggle. Water dripped down his face as he grinned, revealing his teeth, and a sudden cough added intensity. With the door open to a bright sky, he reflected on a painful memory, admitting it remained unbearable. Beneath a pastel sky, the temple's intricate architecture stands majestically, surrounded by gently falling petals. Despite facing challenges, he walks forward confidently, reflecting on his journey and feeling accomplished, believing he has overcome the biggest obstacle. After returning, he urgently seeks Mei Xiaolan, an essential part of their plan, as she confidently stands behind him. He considers Mei Xiaolan's importance, noting he was unaware of her location, but Cheon Semyong and the Ghost Shadow Manor adhered to the plan. He believes that in the future, even Dan Kyung and Yun Wookyung will not rival Mei Xiaolan's abilities. As he contemplates his next move, a group of children dances around, exclaiming in playful excitement. Peeking from behind a wall, two boys admire a beautiful girl, with one saying she resembles a fairy, while the other questions the comment. A sharp blade glints under the light, slicing through the air with precision, building anticipation in the intense atmosphere. A skilled warrior in a pink dress gracefully executes a precise sword maneuver, exuding confidence and focus in a competitive arena. The skilled warrior in a pink dress performs a stunning sword move, radiating confidence and intensity in the vibrant arena. A warrior in a pink dress prepares her sword with determined focus, surrounded by falling petals that highlight her graceful yet fierce presence. Amidst vibrant pink petals, she wields her sword elegantly, combining grace and strength in a tranquil setting. The warrior stands poised, her weapon in hand, exuding elegance and strength as petals fall around her. Her eyes reflect deep thought as she prepares to face upcoming challenges, bathed in an ethereal glow. She stands confidently, her elegant dress flowing as she holds a weapon, while two characters watch from behind the pillars with curiosity. Two characters peer from behind a pillar, one curious, the other skeptical, pondering what awaits in the bright courtyard. She greets instructor Sa Bigong with a smile, ready to begin the day, her sword held with elegance. She explains her morning sword practice with a giggle, hoping not to disturb others, who commend her swordsmanship. Expressing relief, she mentions wanting a serious discussion, while he wonders if she refers to him, as others watch with interest. She agrees, inviting him for a walk, her hopeful expression visible as they stand together in the courtyard. He stared intently, contemplating the moment. She confidently addressed him as the inspector, their footsteps echoing softly. He acknowledged her swordsmanship, while she noted other stronger martial artists in the Orthodox alliance. He considered her shameless, questioning her role as an inspector and wondering if her identity was false. He complimented the instructor, showing admiration and surprise. He mentioned the recent victory in a duel, highlighting the decisive strike against the Green Forest Alliance. She remarked he seemed more like a martial master than she did, standing confidently with a sword. He believed she had researched his background, dismissing a recent encounter as mere luck. She smiled subtly and stated she didn't agree. He adjusted his glasses as another trainee confidently claimed the trainees had a different opinion. She sat beside her friend, mentioning that her recent methods seemed somewhat harsh. He admired her, suggesting that they should help others with their issues while valuing everyone equally, highlighting the importance of being a commendable instructor. He expressed surprise at how good the kids were, thoughtfully gazing back at the other character. Standing with his hands behind his back, he contemplated deeply, recalling the significance of that hand. He observed the rough shape of the calluses and muscles on his palm, reflecting on their meaning with contemplation. Reflecting on his relentless training for over 10 years, he recalled never missing a day without weapon practice, enduring countless tears in the process. His hands, bloodied and scarred, testified to the countless times he had torn and healed, reflecting the harsh training he endured. The instructor, with a firm expression, advised him to take pride in himself, not due to fate, but because he was genuinely a martial artist. Turning away, he reflected on his journey, his hand dirty yet filled with determination, embracing his identity as a martial artist. As he turned away, contemplating his path, she watched him, captivated by his resolve and the elegance of his long hair. Her gaze revealed determination and uncertainty as she considered her next move. While reflecting on memories, she focused on her shoes with delicate straps, recalling past decisions. She asked with a playful smile if he had ever shared details of that miraculous encounter. With a playful smile, she inquired if he would share more about the miraculous encounter. He acknowledged his lack of choice and promised the inspector complete honesty. He explained that his powers weren't from a miraculous event, nor were they desired, attributing them to a fateful encounter. She realized the implications of the demonic spirit cult, feeling a mix of fear and intrigue. He faced a looming character, asking if he knew of the demonic spirit cult. Startled, he recalled a recent event, nervously grasping his clothing. He looked at her, surprised by her question about the name. She blushed and demanded to know how he was aware of it. He demanded to know how she knew his name, glaring intensely. Stunned, he covered his mouth, trying to process the shocking revelation. Upon realization, he understood she was trapped, the urgent message hitting him hard. The scene then shifted to decades before the demon invasion. He learned about the heavenly demon divine cult, also known as the demonic cult, a vast and powerful organization. Their revered character, the heavenly demon, preached strength above all, rapidly increasing their power. An Orthodox Alliance leader warned of the demonic cult's threat, declaring them enemies of Murim, while followers stood ready. A massive war erupted in Murim's history, characters fought fiercely, recalling the chaos before the demon invasion. A character explained the origins of the Great Orthodox Demonic War, as intense battles raged around him. Amidst a battlefield of fallen martial masters, two warriors celebrated their triumph over the demonic cult, the Orthodox Alliance marking their victory. Since the cult's supposed eradication, a lasting peace has been believed to settle over Murim, reflected in the bustling streets. He reflects on the misconception that peace has arrived, when the reality is quite different. The remnants of the defeated demonic cult, now the demonic spirit cult, operate in secrecy, unbeknownst to the Orthodox Alliance. Only those in direct contact with the demonic spirit cult are aware of the lurking dangers, illustrating the cult's secretive nature. With determination, she confronts him, questioning his connection to the demonic spirit cult. He was shocked, addressing her as Inspector and questioning her sudden intensity. She urged him to release her, expressing the urgency to clarify the situation with evident fear. He apologized, admitting his overexcitement, and coughed to show his discomfort. He reassured her of his well-being, but insisted that something more important required attention, focusing on distant characters. She wore a striking gown and, looking back at Inspector May, noted that his reaction suggested he knew more than he admitted. Turning slightly away, he maintained a serious demeanor while she emphasized the importance of the demonic spirit cult to her. She demanded an explanation, urging him to be honest, while he grinned, seemingly enjoying the mystery. He agreed to explain everything to the inspector, his demeanor serious yet confident, hinting at the secrets he held. After being appointed as the assistant instructor, he reflected on how much had changed, his focus on his stylish boots. He wandered outside the academy at night, troubled by his inability to use inner energy, while a companion walked beside him in a stylish pink dress. He recounted his sudden abduction, while she listened in shock, dressed elegantly in pink, the atmosphere tense. Kneeling on the floor, he recalled his abduction, struggling to react, but remembered the person he saw when he regained his senses. A menacing character with a chilling smile declared he wouldn't fade away like weeds, expressing pride in contributing to a glorious rival. She looked upward, noting he referred to himself as the demonic scholar, her expression revealing curiosity and caution. She clenched her fist, determination evident as she prepared to confront the challenges ahead. He recounted being subjected to bizarre experiments, forced to ingest unknown poisons while someone operated on his inner organs, leaving him in despair. He prepared to unleash a fiery orb, while she stood nearby, startled by the intensity of his power, her hand resting on her stomach. He awoke alone in a hideout, discovering newfound powers as he summoned a fiery orb, realizing he could harness innate core energy. He considered the concept of innate core energy, realizing it was not a blessing, as sparks flickered from his fist. He cried out, realizing that using innate core energy was depleting his life force as green sparks erupted from his body. He expressed doubt, stating it's hard to believe. The woman responded, suggesting he check his pulse to verify his ability to use energy without inner strength. He thought it sounded absurd, but recognized she had to trust him. He found the concept of innate core energy ridiculous, yet she felt her insights into the demonic spirit cult resonated with her experiences. He saw this as the perfect moment to emphasize his point, determined to make his message clear. He smirked confidently, suggesting she see for herself, while she stood behind him, skeptical yet intrigued by his demeanor. She recalled a painful past, remembering the place where she was tortured and experimented on, feeling abandoned as memories of her trauma resurfaced. He recalled waking up alone and believed there might still be clues left behind, extending his hand in invitation. He remarked that the destination was too distant for a visit that night. He suggested meeting outside the academy the following night, hoping for her agreement, standing with a playful smirk and his hands behind his back. He confidently stated he would lead her there, despite knowing it was a deception. He reflected on never encountering anyone from the demonic spirit cult in his past life and asserted that his power, magic, was unrelated to innate core energy. He contemplated the lies he created to manipulate her while standing before the open doors, gazing at the scenery. He thought about the lies he crafted, knowing they stemmed from her own words. Overwhelmed by intense fear, he screamed in terror, sweat dripping down his face, embodying panic. In agony, he gasped as monstrous arms emerged from the shadows, gripping tightly, reflecting terror and struggle. Concern arose when one character asked about his condition. Another noted that he initially exhibited severe mana rejection symptoms, but the situation had changed. A character noted his improved tolerance over time, while another found it intriguing, recalling his low ranking in his native dimension. One character instructed to continue increasing the magic output, nearly to dangerous levels, while another character on the ground acknowledged the command. The character on the ground struggled, emitting powerful magic, with symbols indicating intense energy around him. Gasping on the ground, he shouted about the monsters, while two others rushed to assist him, fear evident on their faces. Two men tried to support another with wild white hair, urging him to regain consciousness with urgency in their expressions. He coughed violently, his long white hair falling over his face, as he expelled whatever troubled him, the situation tense. Looking defeated, his long white hair obscured his face as he was told he had defied the odds by surviving the day. He smirked with amusement and surprise, revealing a bruised face, commenting on the unexpected turn of events. She smirked confidently, noting his resilience and stating he still had some life left, addressing him as Sa Bigong. Standing with hands behind his back, he contemplated with a thoughtful expression, gazing at the vibrant greenery. He stood on a path, surrounded by greenery, with a reflective look, as the forest seemed to call to him. Gazing into the distance, his serious expression remained, contemplating his next move, his long ponytail swaying gently in the breeze. With hands behind his back, he called for someone to emerge from the bushes, his demeanor indicating the importance of his search. Holding a stone, his gaze was strong and determined, exuding confidence as he prepared to face a challenge. He shouted, urging someone to stop, hands raised, expression a mix of urgency and frustration amidst the lush surroundings. In frustration, he urged her not to proceed, while she stood calmly, looking worried among thick bushes. He questioned if she thought he was unaware they abandoned her to watch him. Frustrated, he held his head, questioning why he faced this situation before the lush backdrop of Ghost Shadow Manor, Host Shadow number 7. Demanding someone take something, he held a green object, expression tight with intensity amidst the vibrant forest. He frowned, gripping a green object, questioning its purpose, as the map displayed exact locations and instructions. He examined the strange inscriptions, contemplating the cave's deceptive exterior, which appeared like a mere rock wall, and wondered about the secrets within. He entered the swirling portal, recalling the instructions to recreate the characters from the second page on the walls. He reassured her not to worry about the writing and encouraged her to draw as many characters as possible by dawn, despite her hesitation and request for him to wait. He questioned nervously whether he was truly expected to undertake this task, with sweat on his forehead and doubt on his face. With a confident smile, he casually affirmed, "Yeah," as the serene greenery enveloped him, mirroring his relaxed demeanor. With frustration, he questioned why he should act in such a manner, sweat dripping from his face in the intense atmosphere. With a knowing smirk, he raised an eyebrow in curiosity, contemplating the situation with an amused expression. In frustration, he shouted, "Damn it," as he dashed forward, while she urged him to complete it by the next morning. He reflected on the hurried work done overnight, confident that its suspicious appearance would be enough to deceive. He spoke as if everything depended on that moment, with his calm expression hinting at deeper significance in his words. He stated his intention to control everything according to his desires, beneath a calm night sky with clouds and a traditional Asian structure. Cheon Semyeon, Vice Academy Master and Senior Instructor of Blade Technique, inquired about the investigation's progress, maintaining a serious expression. A striking woman in a pink dress stood confidently with crossed arms, contemplating the identity of the soul-taking celestial maiden. She expressed a preference to be called Mei Xiaolin, finding the title silly and irritating, while a man behind her nodded in understanding. She asked about the assignment's progress, questioning if he had discovered anything regarding the fateful encounter he mentioned. He clarified that his power didn't result from a miraculous encounter, adding that it wasn't something he desired. She gazed intensely, maintaining an unreadable expression, while a silence hinted at an impending revelation. Wearing a graceful gown, she discussed the need for more time to gather intelligence, while he listened intently, remaining serious. He suspected Sa Bigong of hiding something, observing that everything Sa Bigong had done appeared suspicious. Concern arose that if Sa Bigong were a spy for a sinister group, he might pose a significant threat to the Orthodox Alliance. She confidently states she doesn't care about his affiliation with any sect. He appears confused and asks her to clarify her statement as she stands ready to explain. He sits at the table, tense, while a hand grips a sword, hinting at confrontation. She declares she has the authority to eliminate him if his intentions are dangerous, and he remains tense. He asserts he is determined and doesn't care if it's a deception or trap. He threatens that if she deceives him, he will extract information and make her suffer, shouting, "Sa begone." At dawn, a traditional building nestled in greenery marks the start of a new day. A muscular young man sits cross-legged, enveloped in a purple glow, preparing for a challenge. The young man concentrates on the middle energy core, where mana is stored. He reflects on his recent growth from the mana stone and questions his level as a sixth circle mage. The confident swordsman, with long hair, assesses his strength, convinced he can contend with one or two peak-level martial masters and doubts anyone truly threatens him at the academy. He concentrates on the problematic lower energy core, contemplating its challenges with resolve. He acknowledges the small energy core's existence, noting no problems with blood vessels or meridians, yet finds no effective technique against it. Lying on a mat, water dripping from him, a man in traditional attire notes that Master Jean Beck recognizes this unusual constitution. He muses on the irony that this very constitution has been crucial to his survival thus far. He recalls past struggles with only basic spear techniques and external martial arts, realizing his survival was due to his unique constitution, which made him an experiment. She stood confidently in a dim room, displaying her determination and readiness for the next challenge. He questioned her actions, asking if she was cultivating her energy or something similar, revealing his curiosity. He expressed frustration at being compelled to do strange things, while Hugh sat calmly, having arranged everything as instructed, appearing unbothered. Silent and determined, he gazed thoughtfully, his long hair flowing behind him. He asked, "What exactly did I make you do?" while seated cross-legged, observing the tense character standing before him. He sat cross-legged, observing the speechless, uncertain figure who was pondering the unexpected question. He smirked, calling it a joke, as the man behind him, brandishing a weapon, was clearly outraged and ready to strike. He suggested calmly there was only one action left, while a furious man in the background showed frustration with a grimace. A beautiful building stands against lush hills, with faint activity sounds resonating around it. Two young men engaged in an intense fight, one exclaiming in surprise while the other struggled, showing determination. In a heated confrontation, a young man grappled with a girl who appeared fierce and determined, while he expressed surprise at her swift action. Confidently, he plotted to lead Mei Xiaolan to the cave disguised as the cult's hideout, intending to provide her with convincing fake information. He explained that the cave's entrance was concealed by a barrier established by demons, while she sensed it resembled heretical sorcery to martial artists. He mentioned that crucial information concerned the demonic spirit cult, which she had been unable to find. Though suspicious, she had to take the bait for now. Despite her suspicion, she observes him carefully, intrigued by his mysterious aura. He greets the inspector, noting the morning is good, his confidence evident in the tranquil setting. She declares her decision to go, her expression serious and resolute despite her soft features. In a serious tone, she mentions a location linked to the demonic spirit cult, her presence commanding in a pink outfit. He promises to provide selective false information to fuel her desire for revenge against the cult, while another agrees to guide her there. He suggests a meeting outside the academy that night, hinting at a secretive plan. He believes she is someone he can manipulate, as the ominous castle looms under a moonlit sky. He coughs violently, blood staining his teeth, revealing a struggle for survival. Panting heavily, he clutches his chest where a pulsating purple light emanates, battling a dark force as shadows loom. He urgently signals for help, shouting about an emergency, striking the wall with determination. He angrily called them monstrous, pounding the wall, warning that their actions could lead to someone's death. She quietly told him it was already too late as he lay on the ground, clutching his chest with despair. He looked to the side, steam rising, revealing both determination and anxiety on his face. Two shadowy characters dragged a bloodied man upside down through a dim corridor, his body leaving a trail of crimson. Two weary individuals sat on the cold floor, lost in thought, as faint echoes approached in the darkness. Ultimately, they contemplated their solitude, realizing they were the last two, silently sitting on the cold floor. He questioned if they were the last martial artists, while she said it was too soon to tell, mentioning other camps. He pondered the existence of other survivors as he stood in shadows, contemplating a lost world. He thought about his miserable life, believing it would have been better to die on the battlefield, with a deep sigh. She remarked on the absurdity of the situation, recalling similar past incidents, while he sat dejectedly with a sigh. She remembered the absurdity of the situation involving the demonic spirit cult, deeming explanations pointless. She inquired about his energy-absorbing ability, discovering it was a side effect of experiments, and he disclosed this was the first time he shared such information. He expressed fascination with how the energy-absorbing ability operated on monsters, surprised by its experimental origin. He questioned her about her failure to seek revenge, and she admitted she had actually given up. After a decade of fruitless searching for the demonic spirit cult, she realized they were a vast organization beyond her reach. She reluctantly explained to Sa Bigong her motive for joining the war, focusing on the future and survival of martial artists. Observing Sa Bigong, she noted his surprise mixed with worry as the tension between them grew. She expressed skepticism, while he confirmed it casually, adding depth to their conversation. Raising his sword, he rallied the fighters, announcing their battle for the future and survival of the Jianghu against alien monsters. Exhausted and defeated, she confessed her struggle, admitting she was tired of living and felt like a coward, having joined the war seeking peace in death. Feeling hopeless, she reflects on her situation, while a voice tells her not to give up. He reassures her to maintain hope as she sits nearby, worry evident on her face. Confidently, he declares he won't succumb to despair, frustrated at being perceived as helpless despite his struggles. She notes the severity of their situation, suggesting he endure as he expresses hope of escaping the monsters. With determination, he vows to find the demonic spirit cult and seek revenge, promising to assist. Curious, she asks if he feels a glimmer of hope now. Mockingly, he dismisses her curiosity, calling her a cripple unable to use inner energy. White energy bolts streak across the ground, intensifying the urgency as the stillness around heightens the tension. A powerful character descends, dark hair flowing, energy crackling, emphasizing his power as tension rises. Heat sked, haunted by long-buried memories resurfacing, realizing the significance of the moment. He recognized the significance of meeting her again after the regression, her smile sparking a familiar feeling within him. He insisted there was no room for needless emotions, his expression determined as he tackled the challenges. His priority was to secure Mei Xiaolin as a key character on the chessboard, his imposing presence overshadowing her. Mei Xiaolin struggled to understand her power, crucial for penetrating Tarant, as flames swirled around, highlighting her potential. He stated he wouldn't offer apologies or seek understanding, his confidence evident as the background faded around him, underscoring his determination. He walked confidently along the forest path, stating he wouldn't spend time on trivial emotions, with a magical circle glowing beneath him. She wandered the lively forest, dressed in a flowing pink dress, feeling the sunlight's warmth through the trees. She stood by a tree, arms crossed, in a long pink dress, radiating confidence and grace as sunlight filtered through the green forest. She appeared concerned while explaining to someone how she arrived earlier than planned and had been scouting the area. Despite thoroughly searching the area for a long time, she found no traps or suspicious traces nearby. She wondered if he had arranged something at the specified location, fearing what it could mean if not. She feared he might have been captured by the demonic spirit cult, staring at the shadowy character behind the bars. She stood alone in the lush landscape, anxiety rising as a shadow approached ominously. She noticed him arriving early and felt self-conscious, thinking she wasn't inclined to start a conversation. He glared at her with intensity while she stood calmly amidst the vibrant greenery. She gazed with determination as shadows surrounded her, indicating the challenges ahead. He reached out with urgency and desperation, attempting to grasp something just out of reach. In a snowy scene, a joyful child ran through the snow, observed by two adults whose expressions showed pride and love. Amidst the snow, a child burst into laughter, exclaiming as winter's chill surrounded him, full of happiness. A child in a blue coat joyfully ran in the snow, exclaiming it's snowing, with rosy cheeks matching his cheerful spirit. A child in a light blue coat runs joyfully in the snow. A man chuckles, expressing how the snow delights him, while another advises caution. The child expresses surprise as a snowball lands nearby, snow scattering in the air. She falls onto the snow, her cheeks flushed, and gasps, startled by the unexpected event. Wincing in pain on the snowy ground, she remembers his warning to be careful, while he watches with a knowing expression. He stands in the snow, offering a hand and teasingly asking if she can rise alone, encouraging her to wake up. Her eyes widen in surprise as she processes an unexpected moment. He watches intently as she dons a revealing dress, an unforeseen transformation creating tension. He stands confidently in a fur-trimmed coat, showcasing a muscular build and a tough demeanor, eyes set forward. With determination, she questions intensely as the man behind her struggles against dark energy. Wai Sang-tak, leader of the Black Death sect, vows to avenge his brother's death by the soul-taking celestial maiden, his eyes glowing red. Amidst the flames, a member of the Black Death sect faces an adversary, poised for combat as another cowers in fear. The infamous Black Death sect is notorious for robbery, murder, abduction, human trafficking, and various heinous crimes, embodying chaos and deceit. In a chaotic setting, the leader and vice leader reveal their fraternal bond, surprising onlookers with their smirks. She considers her own carelessness, realizing she would not typically overlook such a pursuit. Reflecting on her lapse in vigilance, she accuses him of charming her younger brother. He admires the martial prowess displayed, noting the spilled blood and the confrontation's unexpected intensity. He dismisses her words as meaningless while she stands anxiously behind the door. With a smirk, she challenges him, sarcastically asking if he wishes to enjoy himself like his deceased brother. She questions his motives, hinting he intended to capture her from the start, accompanied by a soft laugh. He smirks, asserting that if he had wanted to harm her, it would have already happened. She stated she would have punished him if the rumors were false. He confirmed the rumors about the soul-taking celestial maiden, a legendary beauty, with a menacing grin as she prepared for her fate. Confidently agreeing, he adjusted the ornate armor on his shoulder, ready for the challenges ahead. He announced his plan to sever the cursed hands that absorb inner energy, his fierce expression underscoring his mission's urgency. A character threatened another, declaring a gruesome plan to peel their skin, anticipating a deadly end after dealing with every subordinate. He questioned if such brutality could be considered revenge, sighing as his thoughts darkened. Frustrated, she lamented that she had hoped to find a lead on those men, but now faced death by monsters like them. With uncertainty, she paused, contemplating her next move, thinking, well. He raised his weapon with a menacing grin and red eyes, reflecting on the end for a reckless assassin consumed by vengeance. The boss, with a menacing look, prepared to strike, reflecting on the thrill of battle, as his followers cheered. With a fierce look, he struck, unleashing vibrant energy. Others watched, feeling the tension of the scene. She glanced back cautiously, while he glared intensely, revealing determination in the dim environment. He stood confidently, bloodied yet defiant, surrounded by figures ready to attack, as dark energy crackled around him. She looked worried, sweat on her forehead, and anxiously asked about the instructor. He appeared intensely alarmed, eyes wide with surprise, a bead of sweat forming as he processed the situation. He glared with fury, veins bulging, blood dripping down his face, adrenaline coursing through him after a battle. He swung his weapon, demanding loudly, "Who is this?" with fury evident, urgency filling the air. With a fierce expression, he unleashed a powerful strike, his weapon glowing as he shouted for the unknown character, tension filling the scene. With sheer rage, he gripped the character, shouting, "Kiak," as purple energy enveloped his hand. He grimaced in pain, gasping as purple energy swirled around them, while his opponent stood resolute. He yelled in fury, accusing them of nearly erasing his last several hundred years, as electric blue energy crackled around him. Filled with rage and surrounded by crackling energy, he confronted the menacing skeleton looming before him. A man, panicked and sweating, yelled as he and his companions stood frozen with drawn swords, facing an unseen threat. He screamed in agony, his expression twisted in pain, eyes wide in horror as emotions swirled around him. Amidst swirling shadows, he stood screaming in agony, his body crackling with energy, expressions of torment and anger on his face. Startled, he exclaimed about the lightning bolt, while another angrily questioned why they were just standing there, surrounded by concerned men. Shocked and furious, the group demanded action, shouting for someone to be killed immediately as they brandished weapons. With a mysterious glow surrounding him, the character with long purple hair watched intently as an ominous symbol appeared on a shadowy figure's arm. With fierce determination, the character with long purple hair faced a menacing, skeletal figure, tension building in the charged atmosphere. Startled, the character with a fearful expression reacted to an unforeseen event, a glimmering sword ready, tension thick in the air. A character with a fierce expression searches anxiously for his vanished opponent, while another prepares a glowing orb behind him. Determined, he summons a glowing pink orb to unleash his power, as a shadowy character watches with concern. In the rain, he skillfully deflects incoming attacks with his weapon, demonstrating agility and determination. The man in white, surprised, skillfully counters an attack, leaving his opponent astonished by the swift move. A man with a glowing aura battles fiercely, wielding a shimmering sword, as his opponent grimaces in shock and pain from the impact. Facing a crowd, he takes a deep breath, preparing for confrontation, while multiple opponents ready their weapons with tense expressions. Standing confidently with a glowing pink sword, the Mana blade, he is surrounded by mystical energy, ready for battle amidst fallen foes. They react in panic, faces glistening with sweat, as one gasps in distress amid the chaotic atmosphere. Amidst chaos, a terrifying character looms over frightened men, who cry out in horror with twisted faces of fear. In a tense moment, 3 angry fighters charge forward, their fierce expressions and intense movements conveying determination amidst vibrant purple streaks. He strikes swiftly, colors a blur around him as his opponent stumbles back, shock on her face. With determination, he unleashes rapid strikes, sending his opponent flying, surprise on her face. In a dark setting, she pleads for her life, gripping her hair with fear, surrounded by blood-covered bodies. Her expression shifts to shock as she murmurs ominously, recognizing something unsettling about that character. Her shock deepens upon realizing he's the man she's been observing, confronted by dynamic energy. She gasps, eyes wide, as energy surrounds her, revealing the captivating man she's been secretly watching. He shouts a warning urgently, turning sharply as he senses danger approaching, tension heightening. Furiously, he swings his weapon, yelling for his opponent to die, as energy clashes around them. He stares wide-eyed in disbelief, a large exclamation mark above, emphasizing his unexpected reaction. Gripping his sword tightly, anger etched on his face, he faces an unseen opponent, ready for battle. His face shows shock as he turns, revealing cracked skin on his neck while an unseen force surges around him. Sweat drips down his face as he exclaims disbelief about enhanced defensive energy, expressing frustration in the intense atmosphere. A fierce expression on his face, he grins while enduring a brutal punch, showing toughness amid chaos. With a fierce glare, he takes a brutal hit, blood splatters as he fights back, demonstrating resilience in the merciless clash. A pained scream escapes him as he gasps, struggling against brutal blows, his determination evident in the chaos. He gasps in pain, blood trickling from his mouth, shock and agony etched on his face. Energy channels through him, a glowing sigil beneath his feet as he prepares to unleash Graviton Press, while she watches motionless. Rage fills him as he yells, "Die, pest!" Dark energy crackles around him, his fierce expression intensifying the ominous atmosphere. He unleashes a powerful attack, shouting for mercy as his energy glows with vivid purple light, showing desperation and intensity.